Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and I hope you guys are all ready for another Zero Gravity Gaming event. We're in the plains right now. We're going to watch Going Ghost versus Dorado Gaming Lambda. I am Combos7, your play-by-play caster for tonight, accompanied by Banana Souls. How you doing, Banana?
Doing great. Work was okay, and I get to cast some leagues, so I'm excited.
Exactly, and I am very excited because these two teams are some heavy hitters in the Gold League for this event. So, I mean, before we started rolling, you told me that you had a little bit of experience, at least with one of these two teams. So, can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, El Dorado, they are really good. When I played against them, I was playing top at the time, and drafting against them was a nightmare because you never knew where anything was going. Um, and the final game with them, for example, they swapped Mordekaiser to mid lane, and I was like, okay, this isn't what we prepared at all. This Mordekaiser wasn't even in both of their champion pools as far as I saw.
Okay.
So draft wise, this is going to be a really fun game to watch. I don't know too much about the other team, but that draft is going to be wild. I just have good feeling about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not surprised because both Going Ghost and El Dorado Gaming Lambda have both done amazing on their respective leagues. Personally, as well, Dorado Gaming Lambda, I really like their team. I feel like they have really good, solid, team coordination and really good draft, like you said. But I think that most important of all, I think that they have the ability to close out games, something that it's kind of difficult to do once is at least around this gold league, around the between low plat to high gold. It's once you start to get the hang of it, finishing games, but I feel like Dorado Gaming Lambda definitely has that already locked down and ready.
Yeah, definitely. Playing against them had that feeling of if you gave them a gold lead, they knew what to do with it. And that's something that a lot of teams know how to do. They don't know how to not flub the execution of doing that. In gold, there's almost always one comeback material fight per game, and it never felt like we were doing that.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So right now we are still getting in. It seems like Kabita actually let us know that one of the players, Kaiten, which I'm sorry, but Kaiten was probably my favorite player to watch today. I just feel like that mid laner is a very solid player.
he's he's where a lot of their draft comes from. It feels like. Because of that flexibility of throwing top laners mid is mostly where that draft craziness comes from. And so,
Yeah, and it seems like they are going to be running a little bit late, trying to get an ETA from them, but most likely they're going to need to get an E-sub. This is probably what Going Ghost wants most right now. It's just an edge. Not saying that they can only win with an edge, but it's always good to know that you might get a little bit of an advantage then and there. But now, let's talk a little bit about Going Ghost's just team in general. So give me 1 second. I'm just gonna pull up what their team. So yeah, so for just for a quick recap, so for the side of Dorado Gaming Lambda, we have CB Cooper, we have Efron in the top lane, we have Daydream, not Efron in the top lane, but just Efron in general. We have Daydream as well, Kaiten of course, we have Kavita as well, and we have a couple of other players. We have Nagini, I already said CB Copper, so they're all very solid, like we talked about. But also on this side of Going Ghost, we have Bino, we have Wupong, Rasaka, Naruto Snack, and Sam11MAS, which is the team that's gonna be playing for tonight. Do you have any experience playing against a Going Ghost squad?
think my first series ever was actually against Going Ghosts. I don't remember too much about it because it was my personal first pro game series ever.
Hmm.
So I I know that we lost, but it was closer than we thought it would be, and that's what made us decide to stick with the squad we had
Hmm.
going forward.
If you don't mind me asking, what team were you?
I was a Shining Light.
Shining Light. Oh, okay, yeah, part of the Shining Light squad. Awesome.
Yeah, I was the top laner for Shining Light.
Cool, cool. So it seems like we have another. Yeah, it seems like we do have a sub. It's gonna be Solus for the side of Dorado Gaming Lambda, and now we're going to be ready to go into the draft. So just stick around for a little bit more while we have all these players get ready for this game. But without further ado, also just let us know in the chat, who do you think is gonna win? Who do you think is gonna take the first game? At the end of the day, this is going to be, I believe, a best of 3, correct?
I believe so. I wasn't. Wait, is it not a best of 5?
Oh,
Or
is it a
am
best
I
of
just
5? My
confused?
bad.
Is it? I have no clue. I was mentally preparing for a best of 5, so we'll find out.
We will find out. I think I'm getting mixed up, leagues mixed up, so we'll find out.
You know, once it goes to 3 games, if one team just leaves the group, then
We'll know.
you figured it out, you know?
Yeah. Alright, so now, give me just 1 second. But yeah, I mean, play-ins are in. The storylines are converging. It's gonna be a best of 5, got it. Just making sure. So it is a best of 5.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Alright, cool. And I mean, what do you expect? Do you expect any picks now that all of now that Titan is not gonna be here? What do you think they're gonna be doing? Do you think they're gonna be going a more conservative comp now?
I think so. In our first game against them, their first 2 games actually they went very standard. Titan, he picked the Azir, he picked the Silas, stuff that I quite frankly wasn't expecting because it was so normal. And I think having the E sub in now will just make it even more standard. It just confirms that we're going that standard play style for at least this game 1.
Yeah, we're definitely not gonna see that many top laners in the mid lane for sure.
That stuff's scary, man.
It sounds pretty scary, I'll give you that much. So
watching mid laners fold under what top laners have to deal with is always brings a smile to my face, you know?
Okay, it seems like both teams are just getting prepared, they're getting ready. And yeah, I just can't wait for this match to start any moment now.
I'm so excited, man.
Let's see. I'm just trying to see what they... I'm just trying to pull up the doc to see what happens if who wins the play-ins, what happens. Do you have any knowledge on what are like the stakes of what this game is?
I have no clue. I could probably look too. Well, because this is 1 week after our series, I believe, because this is the first week that... So I think, shouldn't this be the semis?
Yes, correct. Okay.
Yes, it's the
There we go.
semis. So, winner goes on to finals. So that's pretty big stakes, right?
I mean, it is pretty big stakes. So this is what's gonna happen. Going Goes versus Dorado Gaming Lambda. Winner has to go off against Clown Gaming Fools versus TA Evolution. So even if you win this match, you still have a long way to go. Because, I mean, Clown Gaming Fools is one of those orgs that is just taken everywhere by storm. They are a very solid team. They have a very, very good record. And honestly, TA Evolution, it will be... I'm really just hoping for an upset because those guys also are very, very good players. And they can definitely pull an upset against them. We just have to see. But right now, we're talking about a very, I think, personally, a much closer match between the Dorado Gaming Lambda and Going Ghost. Again, can't say enough how close these two teams are in terms of skill level.
Yeah, it's gonna be... I agree. I think this will be a much closer match, to where there is really no true favorite.
Alright, and it seems like we have just started into the draft, so I'm going to send it over now. And the first ban of the match is going to be Ash. Ash really good.
Ash
Yeah.
Ash was the go-to pick into MF for El Dorado. So curious to see that taken away immediately. That kind of signals what they're going for, in my opinion.
Interesting.
And
Also, two immediate bans as well. We have a Mumu, Misfortune, and Kindred. Kindred, honestly, one of my favorite champions to play in the jungle, so I can't wait to see why. I mean, I guess I'm not gonna be able to see it, but it seems like one of the players really knows how to use that Kindred.
yeah, and there's the MF ban signaling exactly what I thought. They took away the MF counter pick, forcing them to ban it.
Correct. Okay, and now we see for the next ban we have Seraphine, always a good ban. Because Seraphine can just be splashed everywhere. She can go mid lane, she can go ADC, she can go support. And whichever role she goes in, she's just gonna be a great... Her team fighting is just insane at the later stages into the game. So in these lower elo kind of sets, she just becomes a problem.
Right there, it's Maokai. Champ's so broken, especially when it comes to vision control right now. The saplings are just so powerful at controlling the map.
That's right. Now we see on the first pick, what's gonna be the first pick? You don't have Misfortune, you don't have Kindred. Ashe is off of the table. Hecarim is still up, and Hecarim is still a very strong character as of now. But Going Ghost is going to the side and pick a Jhin. Interesting.
That's an ego pick if I've ever seen one. That's a pick that they say, give me Jhin and I can carry this game, because that's not a common first pick.
Yeah, I mean, usually what you want to pick what you want to use as your first pick is kind of a very flexible champion that can be splashed everywhere, or a very meta champion that can also be splashed everywhere, but that's besides the point. Now, Jhin, yeah, like you said, it's a very ego pick, but now you're able to counter it with other champions. Now, Trundle in this situation, even though Trundle is a solid champion, I wouldn't consider it a good counter pick. This seems more like a blind pick. Trundle, you want to pick it into champions that already have great stats. Champions like the Maokai that's banned, or like a Hecarim.
The one thing that Trundle does offer is it makes it to where Jhin, if he has no flash, can never step up in lane, because that pillar just instantly stops anything he's trying to do. So it feels more of a game state counter pick instead of a jungle specific counter pick.
Ooh, okay, I like this Jinx pick. Okay, I really like this Jinx pick, especially just because... I mean, Jinx is not that good right now. She's not as good as she usually is, in my opinion. But if she starts to pop off, things are going to start derailing out of control. Jhin also really likes to get a lot of kills, but I mean, in the later half of the game, he can still do damage, he can still do his job pretty well, especially paired up with a Jarvan 4 with a very, very good follow-up. So Jinx, you have to be careful during the early game so that she doesn't get ahead. Any lead that she gets, she's just gonna, like, hyper-scale it, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. For red side here, if I was drafting, I would pick a third pick fresh, because with Jarvan on the table, that Cataclysm completely screws with Jinx, and the Lantern is a really good tool to save her in those situations.
Ooh. Okay, this bot lane is insane. Jhin is great with just poking and dealing, well, just not poking, but more like bursting, honestly. That's what Jhin likes to do. He just likes to burst a lot of people. Cillian is so good at doing this. Not, like, somewhat guaranteed follow-ups, because slow is great, his stun grenades are great when you have something to follow it up with. And then that movement speed is just gonna be great for Jhin to get that escape. Now Gwen, instead of going for the Thresh, we're just gonna go right ahead and pick our top laner. Gwen, very solid champion. I like it as a blind pick as well, because you're adding a little bit of AP damage. And Gwen is just a solid champion. She can hold her own, she can split push, or she can't really team fight, but if you're gonna gank top lane and you're using resources against Gwen, Gwen is totally fine with that.
This Gwen Rivered is an insane Gwen. I had to play against that Gwen twice, and third game and forced out a ban from us, because he was auto-spacing perfectly, he was doing everything perfectly. So I think picking it on 3 and banning out whatever counter picks is actually insane. The Zillion's actually a triple flex if you think about it, because it's mid support and then you can pull it top. I'm a big believer in Zillion top. But I don't think I would play it into Gwen. I would not play it into Gwen.
I was gonna
Ever.
say Gwen is one of those champions that doesn't really care about projectiles that much, so I don't know how pulling ceiling top might be, but yeah, ceiling mid can also work, definitely. I could also see the angle of ceiling mid here somewhat, but as a blind pick, I'm not 100% sure about going for that. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Efron decides to go for an assassin mid lane, because I feel like this could be a good angle for that.
Yeah, this is anything that would get Jinx resets fast would be really good.
Yeah, something like a Set or something like an Akali, Renata Glass. Also, so by trading this kind of support and utility that you talked about with the Thresh support, Renata Glass adds a lot of aggressiveness. And at the end of the day, even if Jinx doesn't get ahead, Renata is just one of those champions that, much like Seraphine, gets ahead, gets really good leads during those team fights where everything goes insane. If Kavita is really good at putting those ultimates down in those choke points, especially on the right players, into the Jarvan, into the Jhin, those people that can do a lot of damage, things can get very, very nasty, very, very fast. Okay, we got a Sylas on the board.
Really happy to see the Sylas. I think it's one of the best blind pick mid laners right now. And looking at the ults to stealing Trundle ult when he's ulted just gets you so tanky. And stealing Gwen's ult, you just get a nuke.
So, this is what I think about Sylas. So, I mean, Sylas in general, right? I feel like it's wrong to think of Sylas for what's the value that this ult's gonna give me. Sylas is really good at side laning. He's really good at shoving the lane and side laning, and right now I see pretty much a Jinx and a Renata Glass with pretty much no escape. If Jinx misses the traps, or Sylas can just flash over the traps, and that could become a pretty easy double kill. Except for the Cassiopeia. That's a Cassiopeia, yeah.
Cassiopeia works really good into their comp because they just want to run forward, and she just can stop you and say, "No, look at me. I am the captain now."
She is definitely she's not the captain of this team, but she's definitely going to, oh my god, she is going to be the captain of this mid lane, especially against this Sylas. So yeah, let's just talk a little bit about this comp while they are getting ready they're just getting ready with the actual draft pick on the side of the client. So yeah, go ahead.
In my opinion, Dorado wants to 4-1. They want to have Gwen in the side lane, be able to rotate whenever, and then team fight with these very powerful ults of Renata and Cass. Going Ghost, they just want to 1-3-1. You have Sylas, you have the Urgot, Zillion can keep Jhin pretty safe with the speed up and the ult. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to pull that off.
Yeah, I definitely see that personally. In terms of the wombo combo that we like to call, I feel like Jarvan Cillian is just very solid. Urgot, I feel like more than just like a wombo person or a teamfight person, he can just be a really good split pusher to either catch the win or put pressure so that the Gwen is away. Yeah. What I don't like too much about the Urgot, that it was kind of inevitable in this situation, was that Trundle can really get a lot of good stats from this Urgot. He can get a lot of tanky stats, he can drain a lot of the tanky stats from this champion. So whenever he's gonna get ganked, or whenever he is going to try to go into teamfights even, it's gonna become a problem, especially with the Pillar. Pillar can just immediately negate Urgot dash, which, if you are a good Trundle, you should be able to kind of telegraph when Urgot's gonna use the dash, just hold that Pillar so that you can just cancel all that movement. Much like how Urgot sometimes times stuns and things like that, so that he can just dash away even while stunned.
Yeah, I agree. The Trundle Pillar actually does a really good job of negating the comp. Cassiopeia W2, just stopping that Urgot dash, that Jarvan dash, that Sylas double dash, is going to be really important to play around that cooldown. If she wastes that, that gives Going Ghost the green light to just go in.
Yeah, Going Ghost is definitely going to go Ghost if they engage wrongly against the other team composition. I it's looking really tough. The one weak point, as a matter of fact, that I see on the side of Dorado Gaming Lambda, surprisingly, is the Jinx. Because the Jinx
Yeah,
only becomes strong once she's fed. So the bot lane, I think, is going to be the Achilles heel of this team right now. Now,
playing against
yeah, go ahead, go
having
ahead.
experience with El Dorado's bot lane, very easy to abuse in the early game, or at least our bot laners found them slightly easier to abuse in the early game. Um, with that said, our bot lane also picked like hyper aggressive picks, and I don't necessarily feel the Jin is that hyper aggressive. It's just more of this utility pick, you know?
Right, alright. But before that, I just want to show over to give me one sec, we're gonna go over to our pro comps post draft just to let us know a little bit more detail. And I think we both agree with this. This is gonna be a split versus protect split composition. So like I said, Jarvan is really good at split pushing, but Oregon's mostly gonna be the split pusher in this type of composition. Jin and Cillian are just really good at engaging, and Cillian just gives that escape to any champion that is with Cillian. Honestly, that ultimate is a real lifesaver. And then on the other side, we have a protect split comp, and I think the protect comes in just because of the champions that you have. You have champions like the Cassiopeia, you have champions like the Renata Glass, like the Gwen. They just like when the champions come towards them. Gwen can also chase back a lot, but just looking at the comp, I feel like it's just going, in terms of getting objectives or going for team fights, it is pivotal that Dorado Gaming Lambda goes to the objective before going Ghost, because that's where they're at the strongest. Cassiopeia is great when people are coming towards her, but Cassiopeia doesn't have enough time to kind of just set up once people are waiting for her, because it's easier to catch her out. Much like Renata Glass, much like Jinx, Trundle can kind of just waltz in, but if it's just the Trundle and nobody else, then we just have Silas, Urgot, or even Jarvan just to take care of that.
Yeah, the Jarvan ult also something I didn't think about is going to be huge because you have two immobile carries. You have two immobile hyper carries, and so if they get that Jarvan Zillion, they have to be very careful. You're right. It's pretty much, do they get in the river first for objectives? Are they given time to set up and make you walk into them?
Yeah. And then, I mean, I guess my final thoughts will be just, if we take a look at also the scaling for the graph, we see that for the most part, Going Ghost is going to have the upper hand through the early and mid game. But, I mean, Lambda just hyper scales. You have practically an ADC with Jinx and an APC with Cassiopeia. She's just going to deal so much damage. It's going to be incredibly difficult to build against this composition, because if you either you start building purely armor, then you have the Cassiopeia to deal with. If you build purely armor, then you just have to pray that the Jinx doesn't get ahead, and then you also have a Gwen that does true damage, so you know, screw you.
Gwen is immune. Gwen is immune.
Gwen? Oh well, I know.
Gwen is.
No, I'm saying the damage from Dorado Gaming Lambda. That Going Ghost needs to go either MR or armor, but I guess it doesn't matter because Gwen does true damage.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I kind of feel like Thornmail is actually kind of a good buy here, just because you have Gwen and Jinx as auto attackers, and even though Gwen does mostly magic damage / true, the heal cut on Trundle, on Gwen, on Cassiopeia, even because she's probably going to be running the Conqueror. And the Jinx, actually Thornmail might be kind of huge for Jarvan and Urgot here.
Interesting, something to think about. But before we go into the game, I just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor. As you can see right here, ProComps. ProComps is a first of its kind drafting tool aimed for competitive and solo queue play. ProComps allows the users live feedback and analysis on drafting, giving them recommendations on picks, notes on matchups, and analysis on the enemy team's win conditions. These features allow the user to gain an edge on their opponents and improve their drafting skills. Use code CGG for 50% off the first 3 months. Thank you very much, ProComps, and before we get into the game, we're gonna just send it to a quick break, so we will be right back.
So we're in game. It looks like they're just doing this little bit of an off-standard 5.0. Is there a Silas invade? There's a Silas invade. Silas took E first. Just gonna back off. Nothing's really happening there. Just getting some vision.
And yeah, so as we see, we're just hopping right into the game. There was a little bit of there was a little issue with league broadcast, so at least for the game one, we are not going to see it, unfortunately. But I hope you guys are understanding. Without further ado, we're just gonna hop into the game and let's talk about the runes. We were kind of talking about this during the break, but it is pivotal for this Cassiopeia to start running Conqueror. I mean, she wants to get those heals. She just wants to rack up that damage like she always does, which is why it's perfect to, or very optimal, to run this Storm Mill, just like you said.
Yeah, the Thorn mail pick is kind of huge in my opinion. It just with Trundle Gwen Jinx,
Right.
it's gonna cut a lot of healing over time.
That's right. And as we see, also very interesting, for this matchup specifically, I would have actually liked to run Doran's Shield on Silas as a mid laner myself. I think it would have just been a little bit better, but we see that we have a quick engage, like level 2 cheese on this side of the mid lane. Didn't need to burn the flash though, and Efron safely walks away.
It's your standard level 2 Jarvan gank. Every Jarvan player knows it. Every time there's a Jarvan in a game, you have to hear about it.
It is pretty common, but it's because it's good. I mean, Jarvan with a very good like just dash with a knockup built into it just spills a lot of the Cessar if you don't keep an eye out for it. And right now, the one thing that you trade for it is just a little bit of your clear speed, as we can see. Trundle just a little bit ahead of Jarvan. And as we see, it seems like Trundle is going to be angling towards either a red side early gank, which seems like he's doing right now. Let's take a look at this top lane. Going
Seems
in.
like they just walk away. Oh.
No, Jarvan goes back for the re-engage. Flag just tossing it back in. But Gwen just deals so much true damage, able to get both of the people in between the scissors. Still getting chunked down a little bit by the Urgot, but as we see in the bottom, we see a flash, we see tossing the Q and getting the first blood.
Dang, Sam has been hitting a lot of those zillion bombs. He got 2-3 double bombs in the first 3 minutes of the game, which is really impressive considering how hard those are to land.
Those are pretty difficult to land. The one advantage that you have as a Cillian, as we see back into the top lane, Vino, just unloading all this damage into the Trundle right now. Just look at all the damage. There's nothing more to be done other than just getting killed by the Scissors of Gwen, picking up 1 kill. Trundle actually getting the kill right there. But 2 falling.
That could have been a 2 for 0. I think they were shouting to kill the Gwen first because she was dealing more damage, but they ended up accidentally splitting.
Yeah, and as we see another person falling down, Kavita, Bella is not gonna bail you out that time. You kind of have to just get rid of somebody. And just the Renata Glass immediately falls. This bot lane is going insane, and this is exactly what the side of Going Ghost needs. They can't allow this Jinx to get ahead, and Renata Glass is not the champion that does well early game either, unless you have a really, really strong engage from the side of the jungle at the very least.
Yeah, this falling is a little bit of a disaster. I mean, we said it earlier that the Jhin is supposed to be like a utility pick, a safe weak side pick, and it is just picking up kills on its own.
That's right, already building the Noon Quiver and a pair of boots, getting that little bit of extra moments to it, which always counts. As we see Sam 11 getting rid of the wards to see if we're able to get in another engage. The Jarvan comes in, but the nice Renata using the handshake to get rid of both people. Sam flashing away, and Wukong just disengages with the flag and drag. Nice disengage. Gang could have been a lot better, but at the end of the day, the bot side from the set of Lambda survives.
Yeah, good counter gank and good read from Kabita to realize that you want to handshake them into each other.
That's right. Now the bot lane just shredding through the HP of this Rivered. This Urgot might be the pick that Yeah, this might just be the pick that Going Ghost needed specifically for this Gwen. Like you were talking about, you have seen River's Gwen very, very often, and it might be a comfort pick for this player. And it seems like Urga is just a really, really solid counter pick against this character.
Yeah, going into Gwen, I play a little bit of Gwen myself. You want to just win the stat check, right? Especially in early levels. So if she can't do that, then she is really hard to play. But Gwen has a lot of stats, so this other guy has to get really far ahead.
And I mean, he's very far ahead, both physically in the map and also in terms of the gold and just in terms of gold items and also in the map. But speaking of going ahead, just the double hit from Efren, the double stun as well. Not gonna be enough just because of the timing. Wupong flashes in and gets the poke in and gets the kill at the very end. Trading flash for flash, ult for ult. Wupong is the one that goes ahead and takes the kill.
I think what's really big about hold on.
Oh, Wupong just trying to run away from Cooper now. CB Cooper not having a dash to go through the wall. One downside from Chondo. He might be fast, but he definitely can't jump through walls. Going into the bot lane now, these fights just are not stopping right now. Sunrise getting the bailout and also the guarding shield added onto it. Able to disengage. And now back in the top lane, Cooper just going for another gank. Just meeting the end of... Oh my god, Vino's attack does not connect. The ultimate goes wide, but it doesn't matter because River is so low. Cooper is gonna go down. And River, forced to force the ghost, runs away.
The story of this game is Jarvan get. Oh man.
I mean, go ahead. I mean, I think we both all know what you were gonna say, but just finish your sentence.
Yeah, the story of this game is Jarvan ganks and counter ganks. Wupong is so comfortable on this. Clearly, the flash, the knowing the exact damage on the Q to flash Q, having the confidence to go in 1v1 versus a Gwen, like he's playing this extremely well.
And I mean, with 3 kills on the board, you might be feeling very confident right now, especially with a finish just chain right now. I mean, I imagine that he's obviously gonna go for the Gore Drinker build because why not? You are so far ahead. You might as well just start going for that mythic item, just rush in. Getting the magical boots on time as well to get that extra little bit of movement speed. Man, getting those skills and running the magical boots runs are really gonna help out this Jarvan. Just with the wave clear speed, and of course, just moving around the map a lot.
Yeah, well, and what's interesting here too is he's playing, a carry Jarvan style. He's got the Conqueror rune, he's got the challenging smite, not going the support style we often see cheeky Jarvan players try to go for.
As we see, just going back into the top lane, Gwen disengaging, not using the ult, but able to take out the pink ward. Nothing too crazy going on right now. But it seems like the side of Going Ghost is poising towards this dragon. Taking the Earth Drake, I mean, the Mountain Drake honestly sounds like a really good option. You are running very tanky champions in general. So getting a little bit of extra defenses sounds pretty good as well, especially so that you don't get poked out. As we see the handshake goes into a couple of hit teams. Oh. The ultimate from Dorado stolen by the Salus does not connect with anybody, but Wupong does connect with the enemy team. Another ultimate from the actual Renata comes in, but it's not going to be long enough because the Salus is going to tear through everybody. Wupong is just a dead store right now, walking into the poison, trying to get killed, but it doesn't matter. Everyone timing out exactly the moment when to destroy the side of Going Ghost. And as we see, even though they lost the dragon, this is a positive fight for the side of Dorado Gaming Lambda, going 2-for-1.
And getting the Jarvan bounties, that was 600 gold onto that Cassiopeia. That's really scary.
That is really scary indeed. I love the timing on this Cassiopeia, knowing exactly the moment, the second that the Cillian ultimate was going to go up. And as you saw, Wupong try to kind of just rocket himself by stepping on the poison. Unfortunately, the poison doesn't do that much damage, especially that one. The one that disables movement. It's not really too much for the damage, but more for the slowness and, of course, the not being able to dash status effect. So, Wupong was just in between a rock and a hard place. Not able to get the W there.
It really showed how tempered Eldorado Lambda were because they did not. The second that Zillion ult dropped onto Jarvan, they did not attack him at all.
And as we see, Rasaka going in immediately, draining the stacks of CV Cooper to force a disengage, allowing Wukong to finish this Herald safely. And even though they did take a loss into the bot lane, this Herald is just going to, like, just inject whatever lane they decide with a lot more gold and a bigger lead that they have now.
So where would you put the Herald? Because I'm personally putting it top lane, and then saving second Herald for mid, trying to get second Herald for mid.
Ooh, well, before I let you know, Rasaka has to figure out whether he's gonna come out of this alive. Sam, able to barely, by the skin of his teeth, just save the side of Rasaka for his own kin. And also Jinx Rocket barely not able to make contact with this Sylas. Now we see in the top like another fight. Tossing aside, Urgot just comes in. River using the ultimate. Vino still has his ultimate but goes wide again. This kill
That's
shots
a
are
lot
hard
of
to
Urgot
land.
damage.
Yeah, that's... I mean, Urgot just does a lot of damage. Also, I just want to mention that he does have the Merchants, which means that he's not going to be stunned, but also he's taking a lot less damage from these trades, which is probably what's giving him the edge. Speaking of edge right now, side of Eldorado giving Lambda very on edge in this bot lane, even forcing Efron to kind of just poise towards the bot lane. But Sylas, ooh, what an ultimate!
Oh,
What an ultimate!
What an ultimate!
Just forcing two people in, forcing the flash from Sunright, and Sunright, you just have to run away or fall inside this turret. Just another pick. You're not gonna win a dive from 4 people, especially from a Jarvan. And I was gonna say that I wanted to put the Herald into the bot lane. Now I know it sounds like a co-op just because they did put it there after winning that interaction. But think about it. Jhin wants to be ahead. You want the Jinx to be behind. So where's the best place to put it? You just want to put it in the bot lane. You want this Jhin to be online. You want this Jhin to one-shot the problem characters, which are Renata, which are Cassiopeia, which are Jinx at this moment. Gwen is not really a problem champion right now. She's kind of, I don't want to say AFK, but her champion is not online yet.
Yeah, well, and something I didn't think about was that when Jhin is this far ahead, even the Trundle, who's going to be very tanky, will not be tanky to the Jhin, especially with that 4th shot execute.
Exactly. I mean, right now, if you're playing Trundle is more of a bruiser than a tank at the end of the day. So if your frontline is able to get one-shotted by the enemy ADC very quickly, then you have a problem. And speaking of getting one-shotted, Cooper not having a lot of fun right now. Trying to run away, able to run away. Rupong getting hit by a lot of the hits. Nice ultimate coming in from the side of the Cillian. All hell breaking loose. The ultimate coming down from the Urgot. Just leading everything, deleting the Gwen. And now Jhin is going to come in with the cleanup crew.
This Zillion is actually hardcore carrying. He's landed so many double bombs. And that flash ult was so helpful in saving Wukong's life.
Exactly. I was gonna say not only just the bombs, but also just the speed boost that he's giving, the ultimates that he's giving. I mean, let's remember that the only reason why Wukong died in that last team fight was because Efren kind of had to just wait out the ultimate from Cillian to go off. But other than that, it was a great placement, and it's just a great way to have this Jarvan, whose main kit allows him to go in, but not really survive all hell breaking loose. It's just a great get out of jail free card. And speaking of going out of jail, Cooper right now not having a fun time in his own jungle, forced to go out. Not a very happy cop right now.
That's the second blue buff he lost. It was off screen at the time, but Sam 11 actually stole the last blue buff from Cooper. So no blue buff for Cassiopeia and or Cooper is really going to hurt them.
I completely forgot that Cassiopeia just loves the blue buff. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, right now, let's take a look. We have a 7k gold lead. We have 2 dragons. And we have 1 turret over. I mean, if we were LCS, this game would already be over. But we are in Zero Gravity Gaming. This is an amateur league, so there is always a chance for any team to come back. And as we see, Kabita landing the stun, but no real follow-up right now. And as we see, Vino decided to just take out the turret. Now going up against the river without a turret. Is he gonna be able to take out? We're not gonna find out until now, because Jinx is just gonna go down in the mid lane. Gwen is gonna go out down in the top lane. And now this turret is gonna go down in this mid lane. Wupong going for another hit. The stuns come in. Bella comes in. Cooper, are you gonna be able to proc this ability? No, he dodges all of the shots. But he's not gonna be able to dodge the 5th shot that came in from the back from Vino. Immediately getting deleted.
Yeah, if I'm El Dorado, I'm saying, look, we didn't have our mid laner this first game. You know, we're going easy on them. Let them think we're not that good, and then we're going to pop them back next game, because this game is pretty much over unless this Jinx picks up. This Jinx does something huge.
I mean, I don't think even the Jinx. Jinx just seems to get a couple of assists at this point. If I was... If I am going Ghost, I would not break more... I would break the turrets, but not break any inhibitors if they get the chance. Because the one way that the side of Dorado Gaming can come back is just by getting that super minion. Because even though they are a problem and they can get really annoying into your base, they are just a great source for gold to come back. Right now, if you are going Ghost, what you want to do is most likely just get this Herald before Baron spawns, just to have it on your back pocket, so that when Baron comes up or the next objective comes up, you can use it as to say, hey, you can either try to do this losing fight, or you can either just try and catch whoever's trying to split push the turret. And, you know, speaking of split pushing, we see Vino right now. No, nobody can get close to him. This is the best split pusher's life. Just allowing you to attract 3 or 4 people away from the main objective in the map.
Yeah, I think it's really smart by El Dorado to just not fight this second Herald. While it can get a lot, probably won't. To your inhibitor point, I think the only inhibitor worth breaking open at this point in time is bot lane.
Going into the first engage, Wupong going for the dash. I mean, the flag and drag into the ultimate, not being able to meet anybody, but forcing out the flash from Sunrise. A very important flash, especially if there's another team fight coming up soon. As we see, Rasakan, did he steal the ultimate? He did steal the ultimate at the very end, but is not able to use it at the very last second. Super Mega Dash Rocket goes wide. As we see, Rasakan going in. The needles are coming through from the side of the Silence, barely coming out alive. The ultimate comes in from the side of Renata, but there are no targets for Silence to hit. Vino just hits the ultimate, but not enough damage for him to take anything. He's far too big. He has to run away. He's trying to die, but nobody wants to hit him right now because he has the Cillian passive. The 1,000 gold shutdown goes to the Trundle, and now Dorado Gaming Lambda goes back on the offensive.
Yeah, that was a really good disengage and then into re-engage onto the Vino from El Dorado Lambda. They knew how to play around the Ergot. They know how to play around the Zillion ult when given the space to play around it.
I mean, that's just the comeback potential that I was talking about. I mean, think about it. Urgot didn't really need another kill, but just because he saw that he got a hit on the ultimate on the Jinx, he decided to go for it. And Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. My thoughts just got blasted away with that hit from Jin right now. But what is also getting blasted down is this Ocean Drake going in for another engage. The stun from the Cassiopeia with a beautiful combo with... Oh my god, CB Cooper is not gonna be able to take this dragon in time, and Rasaka takes the final kill. What a combo.
This is where in LCS Jojo would type TY for leash, because they had no business being in that dragon pit, if we're being honest, with Jinx just dying.
Yeah, that yeah. There is no reason for Dorado Gaming Lambda to try to be on that dragon. Yes, you did win a fight. Yes, you got a 1,000 gold shutdown. But you also gotta remember that the Jarvan is also ahead. The Silas is also a threat. I mean, you have a whole team to worry about at the end of the day. And speaking of a whole team to worry about, we have a Herald being spawned down into the bot lane. Renata going for the takeover. Not able to find anything else, but the turret comes down. Naruto slowly chunking down on this Trundle. But now Trundle is just way too tanky right now. He's building full armor for this Jhin right now.
I mean, at this point, the Jhin and the Zillion are just both supports for the Urgot and for the Silas, right? They aren't the main... Jhin is not the main damage dealer. He's there for the alt slows and the executes to set them into Urgot or execute range, right?
I mean, you'd be surprised. I would actually say that because of Urgot building that Black Cleaver, the longer the fight...
Oh, sure, yeah. That Black Cleaver is kind of huge.
Yeah, the longer the fight goes on, the more effective Jhin becomes, just thanks to that Black Cleaver that is able to shred the damage for every auto attack. And as we know, Urgot is really good at auto attacking.
Yeah, Urgot, just press W, you're a turret.
A mobile turret at that too.
You're the better Bastion from Overwatch.
Oh, Jesus. Well, we see... Speaking of Overwatch right now, we just see the side of Going Ghost getting ready to lay down on this payload right now. Wupong getting caught out in this kind of choke point in the jungle. And I gotta say, Samson is looking very dangerous right now. Takeover coming in, but it seems like they're just gonna force a disengage from this side of Going Ghost, but it doesn't matter. Cooper just wants to keep going in. Rondo really good at just engaging, as well as Gwen with all those dashes, forcing the side of Going Ghost to just back away. Wupong with no follow-up, because honestly, this is the problem right now. The problem is that Urgot is great at split pushing, but Urgot is the main fear for this side of Dorado Gaming Lambda. So when he's not present with the team, you can't really force, you don't have as much pressure as you usually have.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because he's so far ahead that he wants to split push, but that gives them an opportunity to attack elsewhere on the map. And, that's the one thing about Zillion is you never want a Zillion all yourself. And so Sam 11 kind of just went down without pressing R because he was scared for the Jarvan instead.
Which is a fair point. And sometimes you just gotta figure out, hey, what's more valuable? Me staying in the map and doing buffs, or me just getting into this big fight right now? Rasaka gets the Cassiopeia followed up by the Jhin, but Jhin is forced to fall back. Naruto Snack trying to deal as much damage as possible while giving time for Vino to engage into this bottom inhibitor. And it seems like as soon as Vino started engaging on this, it doesn't matter. Rasaka just gets these amazing shots. Kobita's gonna go down. Rasaka's gonna go into Sonya's. And Naruto Snack is just gonna take out the rest of the team. Rasaka still up by the thread. Oh my god. The timing. This timing is insane for this side of Dorado Gaming Lab. They're getting a triple kill. That's the triple kill of the champion that you do not want to see. Jinx getting 3 kills on the map right now.
Jinx from Arcane, she managed to get the 1 execute and went over to get the other 3 kills. That was a huge shutdown on Naruto Snack. I want to say it was 700 gold. That Jinx, I want to see what she buys, because she should be huge.
Yeah, she has plenty of gold. She's just gonna go for a death stance and a BF sword. Jesus. I mean, yeah, just go for it. Just go for it, man. Now, here's the thing. You have a Jinx that has 3 kills. She has great items. All your team is posturing towards the dragon. This is soul point right now. It is pivotal right now for Dorado Gaming Lambda 2. Like I said at the beginning of this set, before this match started, for them to set up. And as we see, Wupong is forced to back away. His team is not here. River is just trying to force people back. And now that they have the field advantage, now that they have the home advantage pretty much with this positioning, Dorado Gaming can kind of take this dragon, but they're just forced back. They're forced to back away because of the presence of this Urgot. Wupong is just forcing this dragon right now. Ooh, another beautiful engaged River just getting hit the Gwen. The Renata Glass, honestly, just getting hit by everything. She barely lives just because the Urga goes down, but is revived by the Cillian. Rasaka coming down very close to dying, just dies shy of getting any kills whatsoever, and this Jinx is just going haywire right now.
Wow, what a great comeback by stopping the Urgot ult from going off. Actually just massively saved that fight because it allowed Kobita to get the Renata ult. Kobita actually didn't have Renata ult at the start of that fight, and so having that ult to build space to allow them to kill Rasaka saved the fight for El Dorado.
Jesus. I mean, this Jinx has become a problem, and we both talked about it. This is the point of the game where Going Ghost is going to start to fall off, and Dorado Gaming Lambda is gonna start getting their lead. So in this situation, what I would do is just try to take a Baron. In my opinion, it might be a very rash decision, but you kind of just have to go for it now.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 9k up, but the problem is, look at Cassiopeia's items. She's on 3 items. Jinx is almost at 3 items. You want to fight her before she hits that IE spike. And you want to force them to come into you instead of the other way around. So I agree, actually. You bait a Baron. You clear out the vision. You start hitting it. Force them to waste a blue trinket. And try to fight you at that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you have the Urgot. You have the ability to shred this objective right now. And it seems like they're going for it. As we see Rasaka already forcing the Juggernaut, and as we see Wukong with technically the most CC on the team, except for for Cillian, of course. Yeah, this is just going to be a kind of free Baron for this side of Ghost.
They didn't have blue trinket up at the time, so they couldn't check, and I think they decided it wasn't worth throwing the game off of a Baron. They could just farm up internal through.
That's right. I think that it was a very smart decision for both teams. I think that Going Ghost took a decision that not many teams are able to take, especially in that sense of a situation, as we see just great disengage from this side of Dorado Gaming Lambda.
Yeah, and Gwen got the objective bounty on the bot side. They're slowly, it's kind of weird to say. It's like, they got a 10k gold lead 10 minutes ago. That lead hasn't grown. The game hasn't ended. El Dorado is doing a really good job of holding on to this game.
They are really doing a good job at holding on to this game, but let's think about this. Silas is about to hit his final power spike, in my opinion, which is, it seems like he's building a Shadow Flame. Jarvan, after this point, he's just gonna become a little bit tankier. He's not gonna deal much damage. Urgot, he's building a Spirit Visage because he knows that he can't do more damage. He knows that at this point, all he needs to do is just become a little bit tankier. But who's gonna get a lot better with items? Cassiopeia is gonna get a lot better with items. Jinx is gonna get a lot better with items. Renata Glass is just gonna become a lot more useful. And Wukong is getting caught out a little bit, but he's able to run away.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, the scaling is all in El Dorado's favor. So Going Ghost kind of have to start feeling pressure to try to close this game out with this Baron, or they risk throwing what was a 10k gold lead at 15 minutes.
I will tell you this Baron is doing wonders for the side of Going Ghost right now. Just look at that turret go down immediately, and as soon as the turret goes down, it gives the side of Going Ghost for another engage. Another inhibitor will go down the mid lane, and as we see in the side of the top lane, Rasaka with 2 cannon minions taking the ultimate from River. As we just see, we're just splitting the forces right now. If we can fight them as a team, then we're gonna fight them, we're just gonna split and dominate.
Yeah, no, very good use of the Baron.
Ooh, and just look at the top lane. Rasaka missing the stun, but able to take the kill with the W. Rasaka.
That should be game.
Who knows? We still have a Jinx. We had a Jinx. This game is over.
Yeah, this game is over. When you're in it's the unfortunate circumstance of when you're that far down and they're in your base, losing that 1 kill is just the end of the game.
It was just an amazing decision from Going Ghost to just split the forces right there. They had the mid turret, and then they just had the opportunity to take the other side. Zephron is just very short low, but the Nexus is gonna fall way before he falls themselves. and Going Ghost takes the first win of this game.
Yes, good for Going Ghost. But good for El Dorado. They dragged that game out very long in a very difficult situation, and I'm really excited to see this match when they don't have an E sub.
Oh my god, that's Jesus Christ. They I mean, don't get me wrong, they did lose, right?
Right?
They put up such a good fight, and this Cassiopeia was so good, I completely forgot that this Cassiopeia was an E-sub.
Yeah, no, this Cassiopeia, Ephraim, I think he's their ADC normally.
Mm,
He did
that makes
that.
sense.
He did really good. Maybe we see some Cassiopeia bot shenanigans. Bring back 2018 meta.
Who knows? I think that getting a little bit of AD wouldn't hurt at all. So I wouldn't go that far. What I will say is that yes, Cassiopeia was really good. I'm not surprised that their kiting was great, knowing that they usually play ADC. So let's do something. First of all, what are the key takeaways that you got about this game one? What do you like about Going Ghost? What do you like about Lambda?
I think Going Ghost, the bot lane, that Gen Zillion, especially that Zillion from Sam 11, caused so many problems for El Dorado. They couldn't really find their footing back into the game because of those double bombs and because of those Zillion ults. For El Dorado, I think the positives are CB Cooper. He played really well with what he was given. He had 2 losing lanes. He ganked where he could. It was just, unfortunately, the lane matchups were losing. And their overall macro as a team from behind, it shows that they know how to play in that position. They're not necessarily scared of that. And keep it in mind, again, that's with an E sub, right? So that synergy's only going to get stronger in game 2.
That's right. But before we move on to game 2, we're just gonna take a quick little break just to set things up, right? So we're just gonna throw it to a quick break while we get our draft floor ready, while we get our casters ready. So stay tuned. It's gonna take a minute. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. We're just setting stuff up, getting ready for draft. That game 1 was kind of tense around the end. It started off as a stomp, but once it got to that mid lane and mid game and that Jinx and that Cassiopeia got 1 or 2 kills, there was a moment there where that could have turned around and we could have been in for a much longer game.
Yeah, and I think fear is exactly the best way that I could talk about how Going Ghost was feeling, especially like you said, after that Cassiopeia started getting to that third item, after that Jinx started getting that triple kill, after those engages weren't going so hot, especially without your Urgot. Going Ghost was looking pale as a ghost right there, and it was good that they finished that game when they did. But
with
go
that
ahead.
said, I think it was all draft diff in my opinion. I think that they got a really good lead in maybe a less than superior draft, and they knew how to use their comp that they had to push that lead. And they were just facing against a scaling comp, right? So maybe different champions, different games. We'll have to see. The important thing is now they have their mid laner back. El Dorado, Lambda has Chitin back in the mid lane, and he always throws a wrench into the draft. So we'll have to see what happens this game.
Oh man, I'll be honest with you. I personally cannot wait. Just because Chitin was the one person that I was ecstatic for, and now that he is out of that interstate and he is into his computer, he is ready to throw it down. He might be a little bit cold, right? He might be a little bit cold on the keyboard, but it doesn't matter because he has his team to back him up. And what a team does he have? Especially because, let's not forget that Efron, the Cassiopeia, is actually the ADC of Lambda. He's not usually a mid laner. But my god, did they do a good job. And also props for the Isa, because their Jinx was nasty. I hope they get a team.
They're you could tell that it was a little rough in lane because that's where synergy matters the most, right? And so you saw that the sub aspect played, but once it got to that mid game where he was able to do Jinx things, he did insanely well. I do hope he gets a team. I would be excited to see him.
Yeah, and as we see right now, it seems like both teams are ready for this draft. As we see, the first ban is still loading up. Let's see. Oh, okay, we're gonna redo the draft. Okay. Seems like the draft is not working, so we're just gonna throw it back into another, not a brick, but just to restart the draft.
They're gonna remake it, yeah.
Yeah. So while I remake this draft, let's talk about this upcoming draft. What do you expect is gonna be just banned? What do you think is gonna be picked? Because Ghost is still blue side. Lambda decided to stay red side.
So I would assume the bans stay actually the same, because the Ashe ban, to force the Misfortune ban, made a lot of sense. Nothing that they banned hurts.
Right.
And we see it there immediately. The immediate Ashe ban, they're throwing down the 80 carry gauntlet, saying that you have to ban MF.
Yeah, I mean, Ashe is just a problem right now. So as we see, immediately going for it, like you said, Kindred gone, Amumu gone, Cillian, they don't want to see that Cillian anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Such an annoying champ.
Such an annoying champion. I wouldn't be surprised if they also banned Seraphine here, actually. Because Seraphine could also be a problem champion, especially just picking at blue side 1.
I don't think they do, because Ghost banned Senna. So that Seraphine Senna is kind of out the door. I would take the Misfortune ban, unless you have something prepared for Misfortune other than the Ashe. Misfortune is just so strong right now.
I completely forgot that Misfortune was a champion. Thank you for reminding me that. And just as we talked about it, Misfortune is just immediately out of the table. It doesn't matter if you're in Pro level, it doesn't matter if you're in Bronze. Even in this Gold League, Misfortune is broken, and you either play her or you ban her. And immediately
and Ghost going back to the Jhin.
I mean, listen, even though the Jhin wasn't the start of the show, he definitely shone pretty bright, especially with those kills.
Yeah, that laning phase for Jhin was just flawless. I'm curious to see what they pair with it now that the Zillion's gone. My personal read on that is that they want to play a range support with the Jhin.
So like a Karma? Because that's what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah, maybe something even more aggressive like a Zyra or a Xerath. Just bully the crap out of them. But Maokai...
I was gonna say, speaking of bullying in the lane, Maokai, what from becoming a very annoying support champion to becoming just a very annoying top laner to deal with, this champion just doesn't want to die. Honestly, that's the best way that I can put it. This champion is tanky. This champion has CC that makes him invulnerable to anything. This champion has heals all over his kit. He's just really good. And speaking, I'm just going on with the theme of not wanting to die. We have an Ezreal, which is just an overall safer pick. He's really good at poking out, and if you know how to play Ezreal, you can deal so much damage and all the while stay safe behind your teleports, reset your auto attacks. He can just become a problem if you know how to handle him well.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about the Maokai is that it could be a jungle pick. We've seen it in Worlds. Jungle Maokai has just been running the tournament. And there you go, you called it with the Karma. Jhin Karma, and that's also a takeaway from the Ezreal.
I mean, listen, Karma has the poke that Jhin wants. Karma has the shield and the speed that Jhin wants. And Karma has the ability to snare someone. It's just so good. And I mean, I wouldn't mind the AP pick here just for going extra aggression, but I think that in this situation you might want to go for a Moonsun Renewer with Karma, and then we see Wukong. I mean, this guy can also go in the top lane, this guy can also go in the jungle, but what I do know is that Wukong is just a very dangerous champion to play. Much like the Urgot, Wukong is just really good at shredding through tanks.
No, Wukong is probably going to be jungle. The nerfs to him kind of just made him slower. Like, he still does the same things, but he doesn't do it at the same speed that he used to. I don't think it's a top lane pick. I'm pretty sure it's a jungle pick. But there's the Seraphine left open. And grabbed up.
So now Seraphine, I don't know how to feel about Seraphine here, unless she's mid lane, right? She can still be mid lane.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about Seraphine Ezreal bot lane, just because Seraphine Ezreal do have good poke against Jhin Karma. And I feel like Seraphine is really squishy. She might have the heals. I guess it just comes down to which team is just better at outpoking the other one.
Here's what you do as Seraphine. You go Guardian, in my opinion. Because the poke from Jhin Karma is more of a combo. You have the empowered Q into Jhin root, into the second part of the Q, right? So you go Guardian on the Seraphine, and then your E outranges Karma and Jhin. So that's what I would do personally. And it just gives that flexibility of the mid flex.
Yeah,
but I think it's a support. I think it's a support. It makes sense.
It makes sense as a support. This is not a prediction that I see, but I would have liked to see a Braum here. Braum Ezreal is so good because Ezreal Q's proc on hit, which means that he's really easy to stack the Braum passive. Braum is really good at disengaging, which is exactly what Karma and Wukong want to do. And at the end of the day, if Jhin just pops his ultimate, Braum can just sit in front of the target that he doesn't want him to die, and he's probably going to soak up most of the damage. And we kind of just glossed over these bans. Let's just take a quick look. Them Sylas going out. Sylas very strong. Jax also a very strong top laner. And then just getting rid of the Darius and the Trundle, just in case this Maokai is not a top laner. Kind of either forcing him in this spot or forcing the top laner to pick kind of a less desirable situation.
Yeah, at this point in time, we're assuming you're either blind picking mid or top. But...
Ooh. Hey...
I like that. I like that actually way better than the Seraphine because the Rakan gives them some playmaking potential, and Ezreal can just sit under tower, and Rakan can influence the other part of the map, which we really didn't get to see. The I forget what was the support for the last game for Lambda.
For the side of Lambda?
Oh, the Renata. Yeah, for the Renata. We didn't get to see the Renata do that, right? She was kind of stuck in lane. Rakan doesn't have to do that. Rakan can just move around the map and cause chaos. That's a Yasuo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of causing chaos, we have a Yasuo on the field, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is going to deal some damage. We have a Wukong, we have a Yasuo, and we're gonna have a Vladimir in either the top lane or the mid lane. Yasuo and Vladimir can kind of go interchangeably wherever they want. This Wukong is immediately going to go into the jungle.
The Yasuo is so good here because it denies the Seraphine ult. You can let Yasuo frontline, right? And then you see the Seraphine ult and you go Not today. Here's the wind wall.
You know, you bring out a very specific thing that I'm kind of worried about this team composition. Oh,
Yo, we got the brothers.
Okay, so where's the surface going top then?
No, I think it's a Yone top. I think it's a Yone top into the Vladimir because Vladimir can't really punish Yone. Whereas he can kind of just go Ghost or run down Seraphine. The Yone actually covers the one problem I was a little bit worried about. Lambda didn't have a lot of damage. So that Yone kind of can save it. But the one problem that they do have now is that they're, other than Seraphine,
they're all
yeah, and Seraphine will build the Andres, and she'll still do a crazy amount of damage because 200 years, but she's not really a damage threat like that Vladimir is.
Right, but okay, so that's what you're worried about for the set of Lambda, right? That they don't have that much AP damage. I'm worried about going Ghost because they have no frontline. And they're going up against a poke composition. And we're talking about a poke Ezreal, poke Seraphine, and Yone, yes, he's an all-in champion. But a lot of the fights can be decided how low you are. So some fights might be decided before they even begin, just by the amount of poke that this Ezreal might have done, by how much damage Seraphine has done beforehand. I mean, we're talking that Maokai is a really good front lane that can snare a lot of people. So even if this Wukong manages to infiltrate all of the, like, Ezreal, Seraphine, Rakan, I mean, you have great disengages with the Maokai, with the Rakan ultimate, which can be used as an engage, but also don't forget that you charm everybody that you touch. So if you use ult whenever your opponents just kind of just muscle in towards you, you can just ult and knock all of them up in order to get a nice disengage or a nice follow-up.
The big play is pretty much Wukong has to jump on Seraphine Ezreal, right? And Yasuo has to just dodge that front line completely and focus on strictly them. But even then, like, Ezreal has mobility. Seraphine has, you know, the shields and the self-heal. If you're focusing down the Seraphine, you know, that's letting the Ezreal and the Yone just go into the front line. And let's not forget that Maokai offers some pretty serious poke with E. Like, just throwing those E's in bush, letting them stack. You do a stupid amount of damage with that, but they're a well-balanced poke comp because at the flip of a switch, Yone ult or Rakan ult, they can engage.
Exactly. This team composition is so good. I'm not really too worried about the damage from the saplings. The slow and the visibility of the saplings is really deadly, especially when you're playing champions that really need to hit skill shots. So
yeah, it really comes down to the, in my opinion, for Lambda, it comes down to the comfortability of the Yone. If the Yone gets ahead and he's comfortable playing Yone, he can pop off. For Ghost, it's kind of the opposite, where it's the comfortability of the Yasuo or the Vladimir.
And
whoever's very snowballs.
Yeah, and as we see, ProComps just shines a light into another point that we actually didn't talk about. Thank you again for ProComps, but as we see, the game style for going Ghost is more of a split push game style. And I kind of have to agree, because Vladimir is great alone. Yasuo, I mean, he's the haha funny, you know, 0-10 power spike, but that's just because no matter how behind Yasuo is, if he split pushes you, he has the chance to beat you. Let's be honest. There's always a chance.
Yeah, and Seraphine in the side lane is not what you want to see, so River on the Yone has to pick whether or not he wants to match the Vladimir or the Yasuo. But if both of them get ahead, Seraphine's going into the side lane versus one of them, right? So
yeah, or
that's
Ezreal or Rakan. Like you're either forced to put your Ezreal in the side lane with Rakan or without Rakan and just have him hug the turret. I mean, this is what I think. If Going Ghost is able to do a 3-1-3 comp, that's great. The problem is 3-1-3 comps are kind of difficult to manage because naturally you always want to stick together with your team. It's harder. Yeah. It's harder for players to know when to disengage, and that's why 4-1 comps are much more comfortable. If
1-3-1,
go ahead.
1-3-1s are hard to pro off even in pro play, right? Like we see a lot of pro teams just default to team fighting because it's the safer, easier thing to do. And
yeah, but easier is not always better, and that's
right, exactly. But in the case for gold, easier might very often be better because you give less chances to make mistakes.
That's right. And now we're also going to the other side. We see an engage cone. And yes, even though we have a little bit of a poke composition. I mean, we have Yone button, we have Maokai button, we have Rakan button, we have Seraphine. Like all of these champions have, like you said, a flip a switch button. These champions can go from poke into all in just the single press of a button. And we already saw the team coordination from Lambda. We know that these people are capable of just immediately turning this around and completely just turning things around. I'd say that it is up to either Forgoing Ghost to either never give Lambda a chance to team fight, or if they are going to team fight, to never pick a fair fight. And by that I mean, if you see Lambda going for an objective like a dragon, have at least one person split push, just so that just so that when they take the dragon, they traded it for a turret or two, or a turret and some damage. They don't pick fair fights. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this goes back to game one very much, where it was the individual players on Going Ghost kind of outperforming their counterparts versus the team play of Lambda, and you can see that very clearly in the graph.
That's right. But without further ado, we have about 20 seconds on the spectator delay. We're gonna throw it to a quick break. Again, thank you very much for ProComps for allowing us to use your tool to display what these two teams are cooking up for us on the Rift. Without further ado, we will be right back, Going Ghost versus Dorado Gaming Lambda for the victory of the Game 2 of this Best of 5. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of Going Ghost versus Eldorado Lambda. Game 1 went really in Going Ghost's favor, but Eldorado did have the excuse of an E-sub. So we're going to have to see how this play out. Full roster versus full roster.
Yeah, and as we see, let's just take a quick look at the runes and masteries. As we see, Rivert is going the Yone top with the Lethal Temple. Very deadly rune. Interesting that he's not going for the Conquer to get a little bit more sustain. But he might have a couple of other runes that give him a little bit of that sustain that he wants. On the other side, we see Vino with the Airy. So he's opting to go for more of a poke composition than a burst type runes. We also see Rasaka with the Lethal Tempo with Yasuo. Very, very solid rune to pick. Karma with the area as well, and I really like to see this Titan with the area as well, just going for the extra poke, knowing that he's not gonna be a main damage dealer, but more of a utility pick. And then the Rakan with the Guardian to combat, just like you mentioned with the other champion, just to combat this poke lane.
Yeah, I think that it's really interesting to me to see Efron go heal, just because I don't feel like you should really need it, because he's Ezreal, right? But that's the only one that looks out of place to me. Everything else makes a lot of sense. The Lethal Tempo just provides so much value for Yone because of the same Q as Yasuo, right?
Right.
The attack speed lowers the cooldown on it. It's just so powerful.
Right. I do feel like if whether you want to trade attack speed for just sustain, especially against a laner like Vladimir that loves to go for the, that he can just stay in lane for as long as he wants, honestly, unless you go for this all-in-one trades. You can't really just get him out, and in my opinion, you either just want to endlessly fight him so that you can force him back, or you kind of just play the long run.
Yeah, the thing with Yone and to Vladimir that's interesting to me is that Yone has no mana, and that's usually how Vladimir gets ahead in lanes, is he trades that health for mana and then sustains till the enemy has no mana. But Yone doesn't have that issue.
I completely forgot about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot that Yone doesn't use mana.
200 years.
200 years. Yeah, you're right. You know what? I'm kind of thinking the Yone pick now that I realize. Yeah, you're not gonna get the mana. You're not gonna run out of mana. Also, amazing job from Kavitai just using the Guardian and the shield to immediately just shield Efron. Efron, I mean, he's just able to poke, sit back, and relax, while Kavitai kind of eats some of these shots, get back Mr. President type deal.
Yeah, no, Efron's job is to sit, hit Qs, proc the first strike if he can, but that's going to be more for Ezreal damage in team fights. This bot lane should be more controlled than it was last game.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, we're swapping a Jinx for an Ezreal. Ooh, but as we see, speaking of first strike, the first strike of the game is going to be Cooper going in for a gank into the mid lane. Taking one turret shot, but forcing the Yasuo back into the turret. And I want you to see a rotation. Yeah, go ahead.
Yasuo being able to get Maokai under turret was really good to stop that from continuing any further. If he was a little bit outside, I think Cooper and Chitin could have threatened to chain CC, but because he was under, he couldn't stay there.
Yeah, now here's the thing. Yasuo can kind of get away from a gank from this Cooper and Chitin combo. I'm a little bit afraid of... I was gonna say a gank from Wukong on this side of the mid lane, but we see on the side of the top lane, River forced to burn the flash with this gank.
Yeah, very good. Simple gank. You go around back, force the flash. Vino is doing really well in the top lane. He's taking really favorable trades, which you kind of expect from the range top laner, right? But still good to see.
Right, and I mean, just like we said, he might be taking a little bit of poke here and there, but at the end of the day, he's Vladimir. He's just gonna heal it up if you let him.
Yeah, and... I think there might be a spectator bug. I don't know if River had a chance to back already. He must have gotten a cheater in somewhere and got the no magic mantle to make those trades a little bit more favorable. I was just confused because I didn't see people, and I was like, when did he back?
Listen, that's just how good of a top laner he is. I actually didn't notice him backing either until you said that.
He's using those ninja skills of Yone to make an invisible TP.
Yeah, where do you get that TP from, Holmes? What I will say is this. The first dragon this early into the game is a good sign for Going Ghost. Just like we talked about. Their side can't really fight objectives. So all the objectives that you get as early as possible are going to be pivotal, just so that you can delay the soul point, the one dragon that you actually need to fight for. And I mean,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and do it while you're strong. You know, Jin at this point in time does more damage than Ezreal. Wukong, Maokai isn't quite tanky enough to withstand Wukong, so maybe force this to be a 25-minute Dragon Soul instead of a 30-minute. You know, and give you the slight advantage in those fights. I really like that early Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, not even 25. As long as you either want to keep it, as far away as possible. So the more dragons you take, the more you are able to kind of just give up. As Naruto snacks, he's giving up a lot of health, getting poked down by this spotlight. Look at that combo, Kavita with the
Oh,
first blood. My goodness, what a flank.
uh, Naruto stack just need to do the respect flash. He tried to do the juke. He's like, I don't need it, but he needed it. He been really good angle from Kabuta, just coming in from the side and making him think that he was free when in reality he wasn't.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Even if Naruto snack dodged the knockup, he would have to go so far up that the Ezreal with the Shin was just going to end his life.
Yeah, Ezreal just eating in his face and saying, "These aren't skill shots if I'm on top of you."
Yeah, exactly. It's like that for Wupong trying to go for the flank, but he gets flanked himself, getting ulted by the Yone. Forced to run away. Cooper just chasing down, getting the double knockup and getting the last hit. This is not looking too good for our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. Bino! Oh my god, what a snare from the side of Cooper, and River and Cooper just turned this fight around.
Are they gonna go for the dive? Because nope, they're gonna respect it. They're gonna play safe. Karma's there.
I was gonna say, they... Oh, wait, we're still not over. Kabuta going for the knockup, going back for the dodge. Just going in for a little bit of damage. He's still level 4, especially against a Yasuo that has ultimate life.
Yeah, very good read from Cooper to know that Wukong's probably gonna be topside again, and just to run straight there and catch him unaware, and then just the layering of CC of Yonel, Maokai, Snare made it impossible for him to outplay.
You know what tilts me the most? Just constantly getting hit by Yasuo by Yasuo Qs. And Rasaka is so good. I'm pretty sure every time we have panned towards him, he has hit this so annoyingly good Qs. Like, they're so annoying, but because he's just too good.
Yeah, no. Well, the fact that he's out farming Titan right now.
Oh, as we see, just going in for another fight. He has a tornado already. Gets the hit, but it's not gonna go for the follow-up, forcing both Titan and Cooper to run away. This Yasuo is on a mission to win this lane.
Yeah, this Yasuo right now, you know, he said, okay, top lane gank went bad. I'm putting it on my shoulders. I'm going to do whatever it takes, go even further beyond. And it looks like he's doing that right now. He pushed in mid wave, and it looks like they're setting up for that early Herald.
That's right. And I mean, yeah, like you said, this Yasuo is giving off enemy Yasuo vibes right now. You know,
yeah, not my team Yasuo.
Not my team Yasuo. He's going enemy Yasuo vibes right now. He is very strong right now. And honestly, that's the one thing that you need to do right now. You need to be this kind of opposing force right now. Your top lane's not doing too hot. Your Wukong just died. And then your Jin also gave up a kill in the bot lane against an Ezreal that wants to be good for the late game. So Yasuo, knowing that he has the strong side, he's the only strong side in this team composition because of the Seraphine. Oh, nice.
Oh, good
job.
block.
Oh, is he gonna get hit? Oh my god. Also,
that was the skin of his teeth, man.
Those boots really coming in clutch for this side of River. Also, smart from River not to press Q, because a lot of players would have panicked press Q, not knowing that that takes like half a second. That's exactly what Wupong needed.
Yeah, no, very good awareness. I will say something to point out is that the lead is only 200 for El Dorado, and that's because of the CSing in top and mid. Vino and Rasaka, my brain just forgot how to pronounce his name for a second. The Yasuo are farming very well. 20 CS
but as we see,
in both.
Cooper going immediately for an ult, forcing the flash from Rasaka. But I mean, you burned Kobita's ultimate, you burn Cooper's ultimate. This is the perfect moment to kind of just come back into this fight, because all your on buttons are gone, except for the side of Seraphino, but you can just win World that if you're good. And we know that Rasaka's good.
Yeah, well, and you drag up, they just blew 2 ults for nothing. Flash, but that doesn't matter when Wukong gets an ult off.
Exactly.
Which actually he doesn't have either, so
River
this will
going
be
in for an
interesting
engage, going
dragon
for the
fight.
ghost form, getting a lot of pokes. Nothing too much, but something that does come out is Wukong's Herald right now. They're gonna crash it into the mid lane, inject a lot of gold into Rasaka, the one champion that is ahead, and this fight is just gonna go in. All this not gonna come down for the Yasuo. CC chains galore comes down, and a shutdown goes for the Rakan. Not where to go, not the goal where you want to see it going to, but it's still a shutdown nonetheless. Naruto start getting a kill onto the Maokai, and this fight is not over. The dash comes in, Wukong coming in with the knock-up. The second uppercut might come in soon. Naruto's like just getting all of these chunks and chunks and chunks of shots. No more casualties. Oh god.
Oh, this fight keeps going.
Wukong gets the hit, double shutdown, but this time you give the kill to Efron.
Oh, good auto follow. So originally where I was gonna go with that, it was really good for Ghost because they traded jungler for mid laner when Dragon's up, but then Wukong going in and trading that 1-for-1 actually means that advantage is nullified, and now they have first rotate on Dragon.
That's right. Now let's see who wins this fight between River and Vino. The dash doesn't connect, and Vino with the ultimate press, the Q connects. A silver lining into this field team fight, losing the dragon, getting a nice solo kill in the top lane. You take what you can get.
Yeah, they're even in gold, even though losing the fight. We take those.
We take those is the perfect sentence right now. As we see that we immediately see a lane swap. Not because the turrets are down, but just because Naruto and Sam kind of just want to stick around in the short lane to escape. But there is no escape from an engage from Kabuto right now. There's nothing you can do, and the karma just falls to the Ezreal.
Yeah, a little out of position there. Sam 11 does not look as comfortable as the karma as he was on the Zillion. Just not hitting as many Qs, but Kabuto is taking great advantage of that.
Rasaka, immediately nice combo, forcing the flash from the Seraphine, but now Rasaka's the one in a very tough spot right now. Nice knockback, not getting anything right now. Rasaka is just forced to get an option. He goes in to fight. He's getting hit by 3 people. He goes in the turret, he waves back and forth. He's trying to get any damage possible, but he knows he is done. Cooper taking the last hit in order to take the kill.
Doesn't matter how many dashes you have if the CC is point and click, unfortunately, for Rasaka.
Just Maokai things.
Just Maokai things.
Oh, as we see Vino just immediately disengaging. As soon as you see that shadow from Yone, you just wanna go into a puddle. You don't want to get hit by anything, because the more damage you take, the more true damage you're gonna take later on. This is not a very good winning matchup from River.
Yeah, what's interesting, it was a counter pick, so I don't think it was for now. I think it's for later. Wukong?
Ooh, not able to get the hit. The double kick comes in for a nice disengage. River manages to slither away thanks to the ultimate and the third Q cast.
This is the third gank from Wukong into the top side of it. It's just not worked out. Either it's been a failure or just a neutral, nothing happening overall. So kind of interesting to see him keep going back there. He needs to start funneling Rasaka, in my opinion, because Vino's already ahead, right? He's got the 17 CS lead. He's got the kill. You need your Yasuo ahead, or this comp falls apart.
Now, that's a good point that you bring up. My one counterpoint, or at least where I'm trying to be the point of mine, is that, yes, you are not getting the kill. But you're still putting this Vladimir into kind of a win more position. Because Vladimir just wants to poke out this Yone. He doesn't really want to fight. And the fact that Wukong is deterring the Yone from even engaging even further just gives an incentive. Oh no, Rasaka, you're not want to get caught out here. And as we see River getting hit.
Oh, good clone. Really good clone from Wukong over the wall.
That's right. I got scared a little bit because I thought River... I mean, the Seraphino looked like it was aimed towards River, but then I'm like, wait, he's on the team.
Hey man, that thing's scary.
That thing is scary indeed. But yeah, as I'm saying, River is in a position where he can't really fight the Vladimir. Vladimir right now out damages him thanks to the Hextech Alternator. He has 2 stacks, and now Efron is getting caught out in the bot lane. This is where I want to see the Wukong go to. I want to see him going into the lanes that need to get these shutdown goals. Amazing Gale Force to dodge around the
So
attack.
clean. I was scared.
Oh, it's over. River just dies
Yeah.
here. See, like, that's
Good
what I'm
dodge,
saying.
not even give him the shield.
Yeah, but like, see what I mean? Like, Vino
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to go for a fight. He kind of just pokes around and then he's like, all right, my ult's up. Okay, it's time for me to win this game. It's time for me to win lane.
It looks like River's going for the shield bow build. I actually wasn't necessarily expecting that. We've seen on the world stage when Yona's been pulled out, we've seen Bork Sunfire. I don't know how good that is, but the item combo is just kind of busted right now. So I was curious to see which one he'd go. But the shield bow is just the default for Yon, which makes a lot of sense. You know, crit, lifesteal, everything.
This is what I think. Orc is great, and I mean overall it's a very broken combo. At this stage, and with the build that you're going, especially because you remember you're going lethal tempo, you're not going
definitely
Conqueror. I feel like if you went Conqueror, I think that would work just because Conqueror just gives you so many good stats the longer you fight. But also you kind of just want that immediate sustain. You kind of want to go toe-to-toe with Vino's sustain as the Vladimir, and then Shield Boy is just going to give you that. Especially, it's going to give you that insurance policy of the shield of not getting blown up by all of these abilities.
You know, I will say, Going Ghost is still almost 1k ahead despite things maybe not going their way, and that's almost solely located at top lane. That has to be, right?
Yeah, it seems also as we see that Procomps is gold is not really working right now because it says 2.5 to 2.5 and I was a bit confused as to why. Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
I think it like shot down really quick. It went from like a 1k gold lead to a 500 gold lead.
Oh no, like my overlay is like
Oh.
2.5k gold. Yeah. Let's see if refreshing it fixes it or breaks it. No, it's still 2.5k. Okay, it might be just and not pro comps, my bad. League broadcasting. It was a league broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, now oh, Wukong going in.
Oh, but the ult from River just catching a lot of people out from the side of Going Ghost. Karma falls down, the Wukong goes down, and now the Jhin falls behind. But he's not the only one running away. Rasaka trying to get into this fight, getting the ultimate, getting dodged this side of this. Yasuo is going haywire right now. Yasuo, you are so good. Look at them dodging out of everything. The Q does not connect, but he still has a chance to fight. The second Q comes in, the third one hits, and now he's able to get the trip. Just Rasaka, are you able to fight 2 more people? That's the question, though.
I don't think he has wind wall, right? Oh, he does.
Yeah, but okay, there was no way.
Outplay Maokai's outplay button is too strong.
Listen, I die happy there. And
yeah,
I got flanked. And speaking of getting flanked, Vino coming in, Titan, you have to be very close to your tank right now. Yeah, you're just getting flanked right now. Okay, how did Titan just turn around over there? Like the movement was there indeed. Just immediately just.
Yeah, he just walked away.
He just walked away.
He just walked away.
It looks interesting. It looked very simple. Okay, so let me just kind of dissect what happened. I mean, as a Seraphine, you don't really have any dashes to get away from, but the spacing from Kaiten was perfect enough so that he avoided the Yasuo not the Yasuo, Vino's just pops, like the one-shots from everything to get any chance, because Vino doesn't want to go for this Maokai. He wants to go for Kaiten. He wants to go for the guaranteed kill. And because of that, Cooper able to just put him towards the side, kind of zone him off from the main target pretty much. Able to push Kaiten aside and forcing the flash because honestly saved Kaiten's life.
Yeah, definitely. I think the chat from Riverd. I think that just a really weird series of events. That engage mid side for El Dorado, but the Yasuo outplay, unfortunately, not being able to live through it, but still getting those 2 kills means the Yasuo is pretty scary.
I mean, yeah, look at the Yasuo. I mean, and the coolest thing is that we can actually compare his build to his brother's build, just because they
Yeah,
kind of go similar. So Yasuo already has I mean, both players have the BSO, they have the shield bow, but then at the same time, Yasuo already has the Grimmer Boots, and then he's going in for the crit items. Meanwhile, we see that it's kind of going on the same. Actually, it's actually kind of very similar, which is impressive knowing that one of them. Are they even in gold? No,
I
Yasuo
think,
has a little bit more gold.
yeah, kind of it's which only because of the CS lead, I think.
Right. I think it's only because of the CS lead, just like you said.
Oh, he also got the full first tower, so he should be up little bit more gold than it seems like.
We shall see, but what I'm seeing right now, Wukong not going in for an engage, knowing that probably going against the 2 tanks that like to engage is not the best option. But what's coming up very, very soon is this Fire Drake coming in, this second Drake, and as as much as I've talked about going Ghost being the ones that are gonna be behind on Dragons, they are ahead in terms of the objective. I don't think they're gonna be able to get this next one, but what I do know is that they're able to trade it, and if they do, I mean, they're pushing top lane and bot lane. They would gladly trade one single dragon for 2 more turrets.
Yeah, who do you think wins the Yasuo Yon 1v1? Because I feel like it's just a pure skill matchup, um, but it's close.
It could be close. I'd say that personally, because of Yona's lack of skill shots, he might have an advantage on Yasuo, especially with all the
Yeah.
lifesteal that he has. But again, we've seen Razaka just prove us wrong. And now that he has the Infinity Edge, he might have, for the lack of a better term, no pun intended, he has the edge right now against his brother.
He This is a good time for Going Ghost to fight. They have some pretty good item spikes right now with that Infinity Edge.
That's right, but just look at the flank. Kobita and the Yona River get the flank avoided by pretty much almost everybody. Kobita coming down for Inatos to snack. The Seraphine ult goes down, River falls down as well, and this fight is not looking good for Lambda. Kaiten, the only survivor into this, allows Going Ghost to pretty much win this dragon over for free.
Going Ghost played that really, really well, but uh, Rasika windwalled the Maokai ult and the Ezreal ult, and then the Seraphine ult and Yona ult whiff. They spaced that perfectly to where none of the big go buttons hit, and they weren't poked out enough. So then they said, "Okay, now we fight you." And then Wukong went in, and Yasuo went in.
It's like, okay, now we win. Yeah, I feel like if I were to replay that as a side of Lambda, I would have liked Rakan to go in first to charm everyone, so that then it's easier for the Yona to land the ultimate. But I know you can't really just go for decisions like that late into the game. This Baron...
Joe just died.
Bro, what happened? Where did he go?
There's no LeBlanc in this game, but that was a magic trick, let me tell you what.
That was a magic trick indeed. And this team composition that we were talking about, them being split push and like side pushing, these guys can just run it down mid, for the lack of a better term. These guys can run it down mid. Vino already ahead of the plan. Just look at the Night Harvester damage. Ult coming in, more damage coming in. Seraphine ult is going to just deter the engage for a little bit longer. But right now, Maokai is not tanky enough. Rakan's not gonna live for long enough. And Efron can't really do anything about it.
In the words of my solo queue duo, why are you fighting there? Vino just runs it down with the pool, with the flash. And, you're right, that split push team comp can team fight if you're good enough.
I mean, it's not even that you're good enough. Like, right now, we were talking about the lack of mixed damage that this side of Lambda has. We have a fed Yasuo and a fed Vladimir.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to build against that? You can't...
I mean, you see it now too. You know, Vino's going to go for that Zanya's Hourglass, and you can't kill him. You know, the healing cut is not that good. And when someone is that fed, you know.
I mean, I feel like the sustain is not the problem. The problem is that he's just gonna one shot with Night Harvester. He has 10 stacks on the ring. I just can't wait for him to start building a Death Note and just start stacking on
He's building a
pages.
Death Note. Rasaka?
Nah, Rasaka's in a very bad spot.
Yeah, he's...
Oh, speaking of this is what Lambda needs right now. Vino? Yeah, immediately goes down to the queue. Amazing timing from Efron. And this is exactly what he needs. He got a shutdown. He gets the shutdown goal. River still falling behind. And Naruto snack is just gonna snack on River.
Yeah, they play that very well. You know, once Yon pops that spirit, you know exactly where he's going and how far he can move away. And they get that top tier 2 out of the Baron. Weren't able to break the base, but...
Yeah, and I mean, as we see, Wukong right now, he's doing his best right now just to deter the engage, just cleaning up the wave with a double ultimate, with a dash. It's just one of those things where you just have to use the MF ult to clear the wave in order to not lose a turret.
No, very well self-aware play to know that we shouldn't be fighting for the next minute and a half until Dragon comes up. My ult will be up by then. You know, I'll get blue buff because none of my solo laners have mana. We'll be fine. I'll have it up. Let's just clear the wave.
Exactly. And now, speaking about being comfortable with champions, I mean, Rasaka is... Oh, he is in the zone right now. He is feeling himself. And Sam 11, honestly, we didn't see that much strength compared to the Cillian in the early game. But you don't have to shine to do good with Karma. With Karma, all you need to do is get those nice pokes that you want. You gotta get those shields, and whoever you shield, you better be sure that they're gonna do their job. Because now you have a Staff of Flowing Water, they're gonna be doing more damage, you're gonna be moving faster. And of course, I mean, just look at this. You're just enabling your team to do amazing things. River going for the ultimate though. Hitting Vino right now, going into a puddle, but Rasaka falling behind. The Seraphine ult just deletes Vino off of the map. We only have one damage dealer left to deal with, but as we can see, his damage is not done. The second proc from this side of the ultimate from Vino comes through and deals a ton of damage. Wukong falls down. Rasaka is the only one left right now in this team composition, but it doesn't matter. He's a one-man army, able to take down one more player. Naruto Snack's the only one left, running far behind. And now Efron, Kaiten, and Cooper are able to take this dragon that's coming up right now.
Lambda's target focus is really good. They saw that the Vladimir got CC and said, okay, we won't give him a chance to do anything else.
Ooh, speaking of target CC, the flash coming over from TV Cooper, it is over. Naruto Snack, you are not fed and you are not Mava. You're gonna fall down to this Seraphine.
Yeah, very good awareness to say, no, we're not flipping the soul. Let's just kill him.
I mean, it's just good. The problem was the positioning from Naruto Snack. In my opinion.
He shouldn't have been there.
He shouldn't have been there.
But also, I respect saying that I have Jin W. I can steal these. You know, it's soul. If you get it, you're the hero, right? So,
I have to disagree.
I feel like because let me rephrase. I agree that it was the wrong play, but I know what was going through his head.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, because I mean, like, if you think about it in hindsight, they only have one dragon. They could probably take this one and the next one and still be fine. You have 3 dragons. You can give up one.
This is a much closer game than last game. Only 2k apart for the side of going Ghost, which is kind of scary for them. You know, you have that Seraphine, you have that Yon.
And, I mean, just the fact that Lambda has now adapted to only using their important abilities after the wind wall comes down. It's pivotal. You see that Cooper immediately engages with his ultimate, trying to force out the wind wall from Yasuo or for something else from the other teams, enabling all of the other players to use their own abilities in order to go into this fight. River, even though he's getting blown up, he's causing enough of a disruption so that he's able to just kind of make a problem into the side of of going Ghost. You know, he's not fair, but he's doing his job, and that's all he needs to do right now. And speaking of doing his job, River is just going to work with Sam 11 right now. Efron deleting this Karma off the face of the map with the ultimate coming down. And speaking of coming down, Yasuo is not able to touch the ground before falling down to this actual double kill.
Yeah, this is, they're even in gold, but the way they're fighting, they're so far ahead. Naruto backing off, not wanting a repeat of last game. Bino just trying to get what he can. I think something that's interesting, objective bounties, not only because this game is so even, they won't come online because of how many dragons Going Ghost have. So any gold advantage opportunities that they get from being behind are kind of nullified with that dragon.
Who would have thought that bounties would have been a double-edged sword in this situation? Like, getting so many dragons would have been a double-edged sword. I mean, that... It's just like we keep saying, individually, Going Ghost is a very solid team. But in terms of team fights, and this is exactly what they're going for, they're not doing too hot. And we just gotta look back at the team comps. These guys are split composition champions. Vino wants to be alone. Wukong can take a turret if he's allowed to. And this Yasuo is a problem. I mean, we see that Yasuo alone is able to probably take out one person or two people if they only go towards him. Or you have to try, you need Cooper to pretty much go down there. And sometimes that's just better, as we see another team fight. Cooper just getting hit again. Vito just going in for the super engage. Getting all the ultimate hits, healing up so much and dealing so much damage to the front line. If Cooper falls down, this is not going to be good for the side of Lambda. But Cooper is just not falling down. Look at all the shields coming down. River still in. Wukong goes down to Kobita. Kobita falls behind the Ezreal, gets wind wall, but at the end of the day, even though the health bars are so low, the winner of this fight is Lambda.
Yeah, something I just thought about. You have Maokai, you have Seraphine. Where's the Kimtech Future Fire on Karma? I think the Staff of Flowing Water was a little bit, we need damage, but not... But that fight showed that they need heal cut bad if they want to keep team fighting.
I'm surprised Cooper's still alive. He was probably less than 100 HP, I'll be honest with you.
Just Maokai things. Love the tree.
just Maokai things. But no, here's the thing. Mid-turret is about to fall. It's living on by a threat right now. And what's the next objectives that's gonna come up in 30 seconds? It's gonna be the dragon. Another team fight. If I was Going Ghost, I would split push top with one champion.
I wouldn't even split push. I wouldn't even split push top. I would send all 5 top and say, we're ending the game if you don't give up this dragon. Like,
I mean,
I don't
think they're gonna team fight. But I don't want to team fight this either. Or just burst it. Just burst it right now. You have the time. Not anymore. Never mind.
What is that, Blat? Okay, Ezreal down.
Ezreal down, but Sam is very low right now. Vino in the dragon pit, forced to fall behind, and look at Seraphine. Seraphine is in position for the ult. Red's team takes the dragon, and River just falls down immediately after the ultimate. Everything's going crazy right now. Vino tries to fall back, but Cooper is just not dying right now.
Good ult, Yasuo.
Look at the ult. Yasuo. Oh my god.
He sniped 3 in a row and got into the Seraphine.
The ultimate from Rasaka coming in very clutch. He has the damage. He's the one character that's ahead. And look, he's starting to build tank, knowing that if he wants to do damage, he has to live long enough to do it. Amazing job from Rasaka, just getting that 3-man knock-up, that follow-up with the ultimate, and then Wukong just being able to shred everybody. Naruto Snack able to pick everybody out.
They have time to end?
I
think they can end.
You think they better end fast?
No, never mind. They can only get in hit. River's up, and I thought it was just River, but then it's River, Cooper, and Kabeta. They could... Yeah, they should just back off. If it was me, I would probably go for the bot tower as well, but that's a comms thing. If you're just saying go back, everyone go back, you know?
Yeah, I'd say that if it wasn't for Cooper as Rasaka, I would have stayed.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Itemization is kind of funny looking at this game. If you look at El Dorado, they have a Kim Pong Change Sword and 2 Kim Tech Future-Fires. LS kind of mauling at the moment. But then if you look at the other side, there's no heal cut still.
Well, Lambda notices that there's a lack of heal cut, so they're just making up for it. You know that's what's
Yeah,
going on.
they're being good guys, Lambda, being like, here, we'll get you a Kim Tech Future Fire for Christmas. You know, they're thinking in advance.
Exactly, but I mean, we can tell right now, or at least I hope, I can see that the Karma is trying to build a Chemtech. I actually don't think so, but
I'm praying. And Jin, Naruto's Nax finally picking up Lord Dominic's. You know, would have liked to see that over the Collector, but you know, the new patch giving the 444 on the execute for Jin, that's such a big buff, man.
and I mean, just he has the Lord Doms and the Collector on top of it. I feel like Lord Doms is actually a little bit better than Collector in this situation.
It's a little bit better. It's actually way better in my opinion. But you know, the new patch notes made the Jin buff with it, where it now is 444. I understand. I would have to buy it, you know, if I was playing Jin.
Makes sense. Now Vino getting caught out, forced to use the blast going away. Wupong, now that he uses the sweeper, he's not able to get away from anything. And now here's the thing. Lambda has the poke. They don't have to engage this fight. They can just they can just hover around for as much as they like because they have the on button. But they don't need to press it because Ezreal can just go to town with all of these champions.
That Banshee's Veil on Seraphine is huge. It's either going to be most likely absorbing either a Yasuo ult or a Vladimir ult.
Or a Wukong knockup too, if Wukong has a chance. And you know that if Wukong pops the ultimate and he knocks out more than one person, that Yasuo's gonna go in. And guess who's not gonna get hit? It's gonna be Kaiten.
Yeah. Oh, that poke.
Ooh, Jesus. Listen, they're losing this fight. This is a battle of attrition, and right now Efran is the king of attrition with those pokes.
The only thing saving them right now is the fact that mid lane will always be in their favor because of those super minions.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a... I mean, I hate to say this, but it's over. Vino can engage as much as he wants, but he hasn't even touched he didn't even touch the Banshee's Veil from the side of Kaiten, and 3 people fall down. Not only 3 people, but the support, the ADC, and the top laner Vino. As we see that Rasaka is just gonna say, you know what, we're gonna lose this fight, we're gonna trade a turret. He has to back. Because they're gonna be trading this turret for an inhibitor in the mid lane.
I mean, they're gonna get the inhibitor anyway, so I respect the call. Let's just say, nope. I'm gonna take my tower, and I'm gonna give us a potential backdoor angle.
I mean, but how much of an angle do you have? Yeah, go ahead.
The one advantage that Going Ghosts have right now is even though they won't be first on the objective, they'll still all be up for Dragon. And so El Dorado do not have time to go back, spend that gold that they got from the fight, and come back. They're sitting on the same items. And since this gold lead isn't too far apart and it's so late in the game, they're essentially quote-unquote even with gold.
I mean, yes, they are even with... Oh my god, let's see this right now. We see Rasaka very close. The Death Push comes alive, and Sam is gonna be the one taking all of the hits. Sam is just gonna fall down. No, he's gonna run away as Wukong goes in. Rasaka able to go engage the ult online now, able to try to get the hits, but only the Ezreal falls down, which is a lot of the source of damage right now. Wukong falls down, but Kaiten also falls as well. Kavita is out. Everybody is out.
That's game. Going Ghost should win this. They have the minion wave in the mid lane. What a turn! That was looking disastrous.
And it was honestly thanks to Ezreal falling down. If Ezreal didn't fall that early into the fight, the damage output just immediately fell.
Yeah, well, they were also very split. Only Cooper was on to Rasaka, and then Wukong got a knockup on to River, and it just allowed him to say bye-bye Cooper and teleport to the other side of the fight.
And just like that, as soon as the team fight starts, there's no way, right?
12 seconds on Kavita. Yeah, they make it.
Okay, I was gonna say. Yeah, with those Jin shots, there's no way you're gonna fall down. And as we see, Going Ghost taking I want to call this a comeback because it felt like a
Yeah, that was a
comeback.
comeback. That whole game felt very El Dorado favored.
Yeah, I
But
mean, Jesus, there, as a play, I mean, if I was doing color casting, I would have nothing to say other than that was just an intense game, and that was one of the most clutch team fights that I have ever seen in quite a while. That Jin shot landing true towards the Ezreal. I mean, Vino just being super slippery and dealing so much damage. Even though he falls down, he knows that he falls down, just taking so much, just dealing so much damage to the entire enemy team. And just the fact that Yasuo is able to get a lot of this damage, because it's not really about the knockup when it comes to his ultimate. It's the buff that he gets after. It's the armor shred and the extra crit that he gets after. That's what really matters.
so game 3, you're at match point. You're trying to pull the arm at 3-2, right? What do? I think, in my opinion, River, maybe it's a bad series. Who knows? I think you have to put him on a weak side champion. He's been getting kind of abused up in the top lane. You know, maybe throw Maokai and Ornn. Something that if you lose on, it's okay, right? That you don't have to necessarily force yourself to be in those positions like a Yone, like a Gwen. And give Chitin a carry. Like, in my opinion, that's where it kind of fell apart. Is that they had to land their Wombo combo, or that draft and team fights fell apart. And I don't think that would have necessarily happened if something a little more aggressive was in the mid lane.
That's right. I feel like at the end of the day, like you said, Going Ghost has the game advantage. They are on fire. But also, like we said, Kaitan was a little, in my opinion, I might be Johnning a little bit for him.
Okay.
He kind of just got back home. He's a little bit cold. These people have been playing for 2 games already. And you're putting him on a weak side mid laner, just like you said. If you really want to make this count, and I see that they're already doing it, Lambda, you want to go blue side. And you want to pick the best champion that you can possibly find. Now that the sides have swapped, there's a lot that can happen. In my opinion, like I said, River kinda has to take a backseat. You can't go on with this. I mean, Gwen was great, don't get me wrong. The Yone wasn't that great in my opinion, but it was probably one of those last minute picks that you just had to pick, and it looked good on paper because we were talking about how good it looked on paper.
Yeah, on paper, like, but that's the thing, is that he fell behind in the Gwen matchup, and he fell behind in the Yone matchup, and I think you just need to take that ego check and say, hey, don't know what it is. On the day, I'm struggling. Let's hand the reins over to someone like Efron, who that Ezreal game was absolutely terrifying.
Okay, yeah. So, let's see. We're just gonna take a quick break while our teams are setting up, getting ready. Because stay tuned. One of the next matches between, possibly the final match between Going Ghost and El Dorado Gaming Lambda is about to happen soon. Stay strapped to your seats or just get a Coke real quick because we'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 of Going Ghost versus Dorado Lambda. After a very close Game 2 that, in my opinion, came down to some crazy outplays from Rasika and Bino. Um, Eldorado's back's against the wall, right? They're in the reverse sweep position, and they need to pull out something, in my opinion, pretty crazy to win this.
I feel like their teamwork has been perfect.
Yeah.
But just like you said on the break, individually, the side of Going Ghost has been outstanding. I mean, we're talking that we have seen hero plays, and usually hero plays are not the plays that we like to talk about, just because a hero play can either make or break your game. And we're playing champions like Yasuo, like Vladimir, that always want to do these amazing plays of going 5v5, like 1v5, destroy everything. And for the last game, it worked.
Yeah. And there's just those times where there's a tiny misstep in teamwork that normally wouldn't matter so much, but then they just instantly snap. Going to the bans, it's the same sides, which is not what I expected. But I don't think the bans will be the same for Lambda.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, they could be the same. I see the Kindred pick again. Kindred, now I see why they're trying to ban Kindred. Kindred is such a solid champion when it comes to shutting down these like one-shot comps with the ultimate. And also, if you know that you're gonna have a strong side in any of the lanes, you're just gonna take all the objectives from the other side of the jungle. Amumu coming out, and then Cillian as well. That Cillian became a problem since game 1, and you don't want to see him since. Amumu also being one of those champions that is able to shut down a lot of, teams. He's able to shut down an engaged composition with the double stuns, and now the Senna again coming out. As Going Ghost, you probably just don't want to see that poke. You don't want to see the sustain with the heals. It's just a strong champion that you don't want to see. And then finally, of course, we're gonna see the Misfortune, and then of course we're gonna see the Jin, because why not? And we're gonna see
as Real Maokai, they are flying through this draft.
You know what? Astro Maokai were a very solid duo.
They were by far and away not the problem.
Yeah, I feel I mean, Efron, he played really well the Astra, especially during the laning phase. And the Maokai, as CB Cooper, he had really good ganks, and he is really good at just shutting down anybody because he doesn't need to skill shot. He uses his stun and just become a very sticky problem. And we see a Seraphine and a Vladimir. Now, what happens when you take away the Seraphine from this team composition from the side of Lambda?
I think it kind of falls apart because you had so much stuff you just threw at them, and you won by pure CC, but it makes the team comp have to be completely different. And also, it makes the Vladimir so strong because he can just run in with that Seraphine behind him. And I think this is Vino calling out River a little bit, saying, hey, you don't have an answer. Silas coming in very fast.
That's an answer, Anna. I like the Silas here. Silas is great
I
because...
do too.
Okay, listen. Seraphine is probably not gonna go mid. If you send a Seraphine mid against a Silas, it's a death sentence. And if you send a Seraphine bot with a Jin, that means the Silas, if he gets a chance to side lane, he's just gonna take over that side lane. There's gonna be no escape, especially if you double gank with the Maokai. As we see another bank come down, no bans.
I would really like to see a
Wukong. Okay, it was a Wukong ban.
Okay.
Honestly, very fair ban. Very fair ban.
Yeah. They just don't want to see the same comp, right? They just don't want to see a Yasuo.
I mean, Yasuo could probably come down anytime. Yasuo could come with or without the Wukong, I'll be honest. I feel like Yasuo by himself did a lot more than with the Wukong.
I would like, if Vladimir wasn't on the table, I'd say Yasuo Diana would be really scary here. But because Vladimir, I don't think that works too well because of the double AP top side.
Right, the double AP, also the lack of frontline. I know that Diana can build tank, but let's be honest, Diana's kind of like a pseudo tank.
Yeah,
she can get one shot. And also, you don't want to see a Silas with a Diana ult. That sounds scary.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, we see the Jarvan ban. I actually like this ban a lot more just because Jarvan we saw in game 1 being a very good enabler of these plays. And now I don't know about this Anivia ban. I'll be honest with you.
I think they're calling out a pocket pick. unless someone typed and said it was a misban. But it doesn't look like it. So it seems like they have something special planned for Meta, and I think they're saying that Silas is top.
Man, no, I think the Silas is mid, man. I
agree. I think it is too. Ivern.
Yep,
No, so it's Maokai top, Ivern. Okay.
And I actually really like this Ivern hit here, because Ivern is gonna allow Silas to get that blue buff as well. Ivern is really good at just helping take those, not epic monsters, but just those mini objectives on the map of the enemy jungle. He's good at stealing those camps and enabling his teammates to get these ganks. I was talking about how scary Silas Maokai was gonna be for a gank. Imagine Ivern Silas.
Yeah.
He's just gonna put Silas in that range, and Olaf is the perfect champion that you want to 1v1 a Maokai.
Yeah, I don't think that Maokai's top. I think there's a pretty good chance of that Maokai support, in my opinion.
No.
Nah, I think it could be, because into the Seraphine, you just get onto her and stick onto her, and it makes for such easy ganks. But also seeing the Olaf, I would not want to put Maokai into Olaf. That sounds not fun at all.
And a Sejuani jungle.
Okay, this is a really clean comp from Ghost. Seraphine Olaf is absolutely terrifying because he can just run at you. This is literally we run forward at you and Jin sits in the back line pressing R.
Yeah, Seraph and Jin are just in the back line, just throwing everything at the kitchen sink.
And then you're dead.
Yeah, Seraphine's just gonna sing them to death right now. Sejuani, I like it because of the...
Aaron, I called it.
No
the Maokai support. It's a Garrett angle. What is this? Okay, they said they had to pull out some crazy stuff and change it up. They pulled out some crazy stuff.
Okay, so what does this mean in general? So we're gonna see a Silas mid, we're gonna see a Maokai support, and an Ezreal bot lane. Now, Maokai support wasn't great anymore in paper because he doesn't have the saplings. But what does Maokai bring to the table right now? He has, like you said, the stun. I would honestly like to see a different ADC in this situation than Ezreal, but he still gets the job done.
I think it was one of those Ezreal. Your first 3 picks, mostly first 2, but in general, your first 3 picks are supposed to be flexible, right? And Ezreal, Maokai, Ezreal can pretty much go with any support, and Maokai can go into 3, arguably 4 roles. I'm sure someone could pick him mid easily, right?
Debatable, but yeah, fair.
Like it's a thing that works in theory, right? In certain matchups. So you give that flexibility with those first 2, and then it just turned out that they couldn't put him top. You can't really put him jungle here, I feel like. Because if they do put him jungle, you just pick Trundle, right? So, and drain all that tankiness. So I really like the Ivern. They really went really creative on the drafting. My one concern is, yet again, I don't know how they get through the Seraphine Vladimir. They lack just a little bit of damage, unless Garen gets super far ahead.
I mean, it's that, and I'm still trying to digest this comp. It's a lot to take in.
It's a Garen. It's a Garen.
It's a Garen. So here's the thing. Garen is a very one-dimensional champion, but we're not in top lane. We're not in top level.
Yeah, exactly.
So Garen can kind of get away with a lot of things. He can sin a little bit, for the lack of a better term. Sejuani can probably spam ganks in the top lane, but I don't know about that, because I feel like Sejuani kind of wants to hover bot lane right now, just so that Sejuani makes sure that this Jhin and the Seraphine come out of laning phase alive and kicking.
So here's how the bot lane you have to play, in my opinion, for going Ghost, is you want to play with the Jhin up towards the top side and Seraphine down towards the bot. Because Seraphine can't really do anything if Ivern Maokai jump up to her. Jhin will have Seraphine heal, with the W, with the E. And so if you can play the lane like that, I think you're fine. You're not really scared of the Ivern Maokai in that scenario. I think it really depends on how Chitin does on the Silas.
Yeah. Now,
because if they can get those 4-man dives off, which I know they can do, I've been unfortunately on the receiving end of it, then it becomes scary.
I guess this is my next question. What would you like to see on both teams? Because I would actually like to see Cleanse on Jane in this game.
Yeah, no, this is a...
This is a Cleanse
So,
game.
it's a Cleanse and then a Seraphine heal, so you can run away.
Yeah.
Olaf, you go...
What?
Ghost PP.
Silas
Okay. Says into Silas. Okay. No, this is actually so smart. The only thing is I don't think River is prepared for how much damage Sejuani does. With
What?
I've gotten so many solo kills on Sejuani into counter matchups.
Is this
But
a
the thing
counter
is,
matchup?
I think it's a counter matchup. I think Silas should be pre-scaling into this, especially post 6. Pre-6, he has to be very careful because... Oh. What happened? What happened?
Oh, he wanted the Darius, but he has to pick Garen, so he picked Darius by accident. No worries, no worries.
Okay, that Darius mid is a Titan special, so... But Bruiser's mid, that would honestly make so much sense. Garen into Vladimir, it's another situation of Garen actually has health sustain to match Vlad. Right? Because he can get the health regen, and then he silences him pre-W, and he can't do anything. And it also is a very easy gank setup. So I'm actually okay with the Garen into Vladimir. It's more the Silas into Sejuani. I think Sejuani, pre-6 can just abuse that lane. And if Olaf ganks top early,
Jesus,
if Olaf,
yeah.
you just proxy the wave. Like
Yeah,
this Sejuani, what is he gonna do?
My goodness, yeah. The more I thought about it, it opened my mind to, hey, Sejuani can probably beat this Garen or this Silas in the top lane.
Sejuani is so scary. If you go Ignite instead of Flash too, if you're not a coward, you can do, because nobody expects the E prop, E auto does so much damage, and then you R auto, and it does a lot of burst. I'm really familiar with this. I played when I first joined the team. I played a lot of Sejuani because it was just a comfort pick for me. And it's so strong. It's scary.
I can only begin to imagine. I like the Olaf jungle because he's able to gank these lanes that have a lot of CC, and he's able to just say no to them. Maokai is not gonna be a threat anymore because Maokai can just pop the ultimate, and then Olaf is just gonna run over there. He's just gonna run away. Like, not run away, but like run away towards Maokai and Ezreal for Seraphine and Jhin to do something about it. Speaking of, like, beans, like, Maokai is a very slippery champion. If he tries to jump on the Seraphine or the Jhin, he's just gonna get, like, hit in the face by an Olaf, or even worse, he's gonna let Olaf hit Ezreal in the face with anything that with everything he's got.
Yeah, the Olaf pick kind of throws a wrench into everything. Olaf Seraphine is such a scary combo.
Yeah, it's just because, yeah, you just press ultimate, and then you're allowed the Seraphine ultimate to just run free, wherever you want to put it. And also the heals. I mean, the moment Seraphine was picked, going Ghost's fears of not doing well as a team kind of vanished.
Yeah, it band-aids their issue. They managed to pick a comp where 1v1 they're still winning, or at least even. It's a skill thing. And then they patched up with a very simple 1-2 of Olaf Seraphine. You know what you're doing in that team.
Right, and now I'm gonna send it over to ProComps. ProComps, again, thank you very much for everything. And it says that split push versus split protect. I kind of have to disagree a little bit, but I might
kind of have to disagree. I think that the Silas Garen, while they can split push, and Silas later in the game will want to split push into Sejuani, I don't think early game it's a good split push.
Yeah, I actually say the opposite. I feel like the better split push team is actually the red side with split protect, but the blue side, even though they have good split pushing champions in the laning phase, I mean, you kind of just want to make team fights happen. You kind of want
Yeah.
the Sejuani to go in, hit the ultimate down, no matter who it is. That one person getting hit by the ultimate is the person going down, and then have the Vladimir and have the Olaf just run straight at them.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
I'm very excited about this. I'll be honest with you. Lambda has a really good chance at winning just because of how spicy their comp. This is a Hail Mary comp. I
Yeah,
love it.
this is we're gonna confuse you. We're gonna make it so you don't know what we're doing. Because don't forget, according to the Z, as far as I'm aware, according to the ZZG rule set, this Garen could still go top, and just in the hands of Kite, because the solo laners can switch depending on which matchup's better. So, we still don't technically know where this comp is going. This could just be Chitin saying, hey, I'm more comfortable on the Garen, you're more comfortable on the Silas.
Let's
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of see that. I still don't like the Garen into the Sejuani.
I don't either. I don't see it happening, but it's still something that we don't know.
Right, this is what I think. Kyan's gonna go Flash Ignite or Ghost Ignite in the Garen against the Vladimir. That's what I'm feeling right now. He's gonna go Ghost Ignite, just so that he can catch up to this Vladimir. He's gonna put an end to him. He's gonna not allow him to have fun at all. This Ivern, I feel like he's only gonna come alive until level 6, and that's when things are gonna start to get spicy because of Daisy. And he's gonna go, he's an enchanter support. He's the enchanter support of the team. So they're gonna get a lot of sustain. Ezreal's gonna be Ezreal, and then with Maokai now next to him, and forcing the Maokai to be the support, things are gonna get a lot more scary for Naruto Snax and Sam.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. That bot lane I'm a little worried about. That's what they have to push. But I like the Sejuani. Call me a simp, I don't care. I think the Sejuani is so good here. And I think the Olaf is also incredibly good here. This was a really good draft game though from both of them. This draft I think was the best, most even draft, like out of all of them.
That's right, but before we head on to the game again, thank you so much for Procons for bringing us this detailed review. I can't wait for this game to start, but we're gonna send it to a quick break just so that we synchronize on the draft and the loading game. So we'll be right back, so stay tuned, stay strapped to your seats. Game 3 between Going Ghosts and Dorado Gaming Lambda. We'll be right back.
It's finally here, guys. Game 3 of Going Ghost versus Eldorado Lambda with some interesting decisions and I might not get to talk about him because there's a level 1 invade. On both sides, actually, they're mirroring each other.
I mean, I like this. This is
This
peak.
is
This is peak. This is the Hail Mary game, as we talked about. Even though you're 2 games up, you kind of just want to close it. You don't want to. You don't want to let Lambda get back in any way, shape, or form. So this is good.
I like the invade. They literally just did the exact same thing to each other. So summoner spells kind of off for me that the Jhin doesn't have cleanse and the Ezreal does. It feels like that should be reversed.
Yeah, we thought that it was a given, at least for this side of Jhin. I kind of like the cleanse just because you have a Sejuani with an ult and you have a Seraphim with her ult. Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. The more interesting thing to me is Titan with the first strike Garen. That does not make sense to me. I would think Phase Rush makes sense, or even even like Conqueror.
Yeah, because
Like
I mean, if Rasaka is smart, he just auto attacks Titan once, and even if it's a losing trade, he loses his damage, and you just heal it back up.
yeah,
Yeah, just like that. Like, so
this is gonna be an interesting game.
that's right. And speaking of interesting, Vito immediately going for the first
Oh,
hit.
the juke!
Jesus Christ! Just look at all the damage that this Sejuani has, and she's going Grasp of the Undying because she just wants to go for that sustain. She doesn't need the damage. And speaking of damage, Kabuto already brought down to 130 HP, thanks to the combo of Seraphine and the Jhin.
Yeah, the Seraphine Jhin, Kawita, just melee matchup things. Oh,
forced to
that should be a
run
solo
away.
kill.
Yeah, that's a solo kill. Oh,
Oh, so close.
barely lives. Yeah, the flash away using the 2 pots, but here, I mean, you flashed away and now you have to burn TP. This is a win from Vino, especially because Ignite comes back faster than Flash. So
Yeah.
next time that happens, you know, Flash is not gonna be able to save Riverin.
Yeah, no, the next time that happens, he'll be 6 and he won't have flash.
And then another thing, we talked about how we kind of need to see Riverin in kind of this backseat. You know, he needed to go this tank. He's not doing too hot. I gotta stop my train of thought right now because even though Riverin is taking a beating, look at the bot lane. Cooper is ready. He is on the prowl. This tree, he might look like a hippie, but he is a killer in disguise. Look at the engage. Kabuto comes in. Goes in, gets it. The first blood actually goes for Sam with the hits and the exhaust. And Naruto Snacks is able to just get the double kill. Well, not. Now, who's gonna get the third? The double kill is gonna come down for Cooper.
I mean, that's 2 kills on the bot lane versus 2 kills on an Ivern. I will take that any day of the week as going goes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was making a joke about Ivern, like, you know, he's being the killer, but honestly, he doesn't have the tools to kill. And also, you're not playing into the most aggressive bot lane. Ezreal, he can deal a lot of damage, but he gets most of his damage just from poking, not from all-in engaging.
Well, and something to point out is that look at the CS diff in the jungle. It's a 14 CS diff for Wukong. So some of that advantage is kind of just nullified by the fact that he has more farm.
Yeah, and speaking of CS difference, we see Wukong just taking out the Crocs. He is spotted, and Riverin uses Wukong as a grappling hook, but unfortunately this grappling hook is not too friendly.
Yeah, that's not a good grappling hook, man. This is kind of a disaster in the top lane.
Yeah, Riverin is definitely not. Oh my god, Rosaka. Either good reactions or good ping, but that was an insane pull. He would have died.
Yeah, I think he would have died because he didn't have flash. Actually, he had ghost. I think he could have been fine, but the thing is now
let's put it to the test. Cooper coming back in for another gank, just dodging it. Doesn't even need to use the pull. I don't like this.
I'm not a fan. No, Olaf's just getting back onto the. You know, he's already recalled once. He's got a Sheen and a longsword and a dagger, and he's just gonna go to Krugs, go to chickens, and Sej is gonna walk through blue side to topside jungle, make sure Ivern isn't there, but
He's not there because he's been ganking so many times that he's kind of falling behind right now. Now, I will say this much. Ivern is not a high econ character. But at the same time, you kind of want to keep this item power spikes, you know?
yeah, it's like it's this coin flip of like Ivern's not a high econ character, but he got 2 kills, but he's not
Oh,
power farming.
and speaking of which, we see another gank. You know, that cleanse would have seemed really good right about now, but Naruto Snack doesn't really care at all. He's gonna keep going for the hits. Get the 4-shot. Sam is gonna end up taking the kill, and is able to flash away, making most of what they have right now. But in another route, that just means that Sam is gonna get hit again. Another Q. Kabuta might not. Yeah, definitely not the way that you want to knock your opponent back.
It's a 1-for-1, and Ivern gets the kill again, man. Like, start building Kraken Slayer on this guy.
Not only that, but also they give up a dragon.
And Olaf's just gonna run into the jungle.
Oh my god. He knows. He knows, and
he doesn't lack the critical information.
Ooh.
Is he dead?
He is dead.
He's dead. Yeah, he doesn't have... A little bit greedy for Wukong.
Honestly,
I think River's dead. River should be dead.
Oh my god. Yeah, where's that flash where you need it?
Yeah. I mean, the Sejuani is just so strong. People just disrespect her because she's usually a jungler.
She's usually a tank.
She's usually... Well, I mean, the thing is, like, early game tanks have high base stats because they need to be able to trade. So in the early game... And Sejuani has some of the highest with that E reset. So...
Yeah, and I mean, just look at that. Now, Silas has no TP. He just got flashback up, lose 2 turrets, and look at the CS difference. It is 48 to 34.
Like, look at the item difference. He's just coming back to lane, and he has an Amp Tone and a Dark Seal versus... I can't remember the fire item, but Merc Treads and...
Yeah, Abami Cinder.
Abami Cinder, yeah. It's kind of a big item diff. You're not ever winning trades again.
You're not winning trades again. You're probably not gonna have fun in lane anymore. Another wave's pushing back at this Sejuani. Riverrain should have just froze the lane if he had the chance to. I mean, it would have been very difficult, knowing that the wave was already inside the turret. It's just not a good spot to be in right now.
Yeah, and that poke just keeps hitting from that bot lane.
I mean,
are they gonna go for another mid gank?
I mean, listen, man. Where else are you supposed to go? We see Rasaka trying to run away, trying to expect the engages, but it's not coming. They see disengaging immediately because they saw the immediate rotation from Vino, the Sejuani, and also probably guessing that Wukong is nearby.
Yeah, it's... You just need to give up this Herald, man. You're...
Oh, let's see. Oh, that's a really good snare. Rasaka using the very last bit of... Ooh, nice flash away to avoid the ultimate.
Titan's dead.
Titan might... Yes, Titan's dead. And now just the other axe comes in. Oh, Sonya's. Perfect timing.
Ooh, stopwatch. Yeah, but then they just rotate over to Ramp.
Yeah, it's... Silver lining. You didn't give a shutdown. Also, but also... in the back.
Yeah, true.
But also, at the same time, yes, you are giving up. Also, look at the CS difference. There's such a gold difference in the jungle that even though Ivern has 3 kills, he still doesn't have shutdown gold. Ultimate goes wide, but it just forces the flash from the side of Airfront and Kabuta. And Kabuta still falls down to the 4-shot of the Jin. Another shot comes in. Airfront coming in.
He can flash 4th shot.
I don't think he wants to.
Yeah.
Alright guys. Clearly I can't, I'll see you guys next time.
It's okay, man, it's okay. It's just a crazy game. We did not think the Garen mid into Vladimir with first strike was going to be a thing, but here we are.
Yeah, I still don't know how to feel about that, but what I do feel,
just...
yeah, it's that, I mean, No, nice ultimate actually. Forcing Vino to disengage. Ultimate goes
Yeah,
wide.
play.
Warwick's gonna die. Wait, but he dies because of the Herald crash. Insane.
Oh, the outplays the third man Rift Herald coming in, and they get first tower.
And I mean, first turret with turret plating. We're still 10 minutes into the game, man. There's still turret
It's a
plating to be
5k
taken.
gold lead.
It's not looking too good for our heroes right now. Titan, out of all the champions, honestly, Titan probably really wanted to go
He's
to
going
Darius.
crit Garen.
If he goes Guild Force, I can kind of see the first strike coming in, but at the same time,
It
I feel
has to
like
be shield though, no? Like you just get
no,
blown up.
no. I feel like Titan's gonna go Guild Force.
I mean, I think he's going to, but it doesn't feel like the right call, man.
I feel like first strike Garen doesn't feel like the right call, but you know.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything there. I might get in trouble. Um,
But what I will say is this. Going Ghost has the positional advantage on this dragon. Sejuani is bot lane. Forces Reverend to go down into the mid lane to try to just fight off this engage. Honestly, if I was Reverend, I would just take my losses and just keep pushing top lane. But now that you're here,
yeah,
you make the best what that you can do. Reverend, you might as well just take the ultimate from the Seraphine.
yep. That's what you gotta do. You have to take the ultimate from the Seraphine and pray that the wombo combo of Seraphine ult with Garen spin is good.
I feel like you're lacking just a little bit of damage for that combo, though.
Yeah,
And right
well, and
now,
they don't have mid prio and they don't have bot prio,
exactly. I
and
mean,
the Seraphine ult whiffs.
Seraphino's goes wide. And the Ghost is just too good from Rasaka. The Jhin ult comes in, and now the actual Seraphine ult comes in. Look at all those charms, look at all that damage. Rasaka might be falling down, but where's the damage coming from? Cooper's still alive, barely. Reverend goes down at the very end, and only 1-for-1 is still a very positive trade. I'd say that this is definitely worth for the side of Lambda.
Yeah, but the problem is you're still giving up that dragon.
I mean, yeah, but
Because your jungler has to back. He's so low, and then you just rotate down to bot, take those plates.
at this point into the game, you kind of just have to give up this dragon. At the end of the day, it's just a Cloud Drake. It's not too much.
What's soul though?
That is, yeah. What is soul? Let's take a look. It's going to be Hextech Drake. There's. She dies.
The double. Oh wait, yeah, not a double solo kill, Sag, because Maokai assists. But
okay, so I mean that's good. Kite's
that's good. Yeah, that's good for Kite, and he gets that Sejuani shut down.
Gets the Sejuani shut down. The magical boots come online.
You're right. It has to be Kraken Slit or Gale Force because that build only builds into. There it is.
Okay, so why is Gale Force good in theory into this?
Because... So in theory, you're going to be side laning into the Vladimir, right? So you're able to close that gap, and it also is the double execute with your ult.
Oh my god, nice flash! But the knockback is just gonna push Sam back. It's still alive thanks to the heal until the shutdown from the Ezreal comes in.
Cleanse.
Oh, Vino. This is not good.
Yeah, you can't.
Going Ghost is going way too deep. Exactly, Going Ghost is way too deep. Vino needs to back away, but the dash collides with other people. He needs to find an opening. He finds the opening, but Vino still has to run away. They lose this fight again. I completely forgot the fact that Lambda's team coordination is just way too cracked.
It's very good, but the difference between this game and last game, in my opinion, is where's their scaling? It's in the crit Garen and the Ezreal, right? You don't have a Yone Seraphine backup.
That is true. But what I will say in return is that even though they only have those two scalers, they have two very good enablers with the Ivern, with the Maokai. Ivern, surprisingly, he's one of those champions that he will not let your teammates die. His shields are really strong. Yeah. And Daisy is just a very annoying character to deal with. And yeah, and then also, let's not forget that Glacial Augment reduces attack damage as well.
I really like the Glacial Augment here, actually. And...
oh, this is... Jesus Christ. That was nasty. Wupong, I don't know about this.
Buddy. This is a little bit of a for funsies moment.
Yeah,
Very good picks though by Cooper. The Ivern and Garen combo is showing why that works as well as it does.
Oh my god, it's happening again. Oh, Rasaka able to dodge away. The puddle is going to walk out, but Kaiten is just a little bit faster. No, he walks away at the last second. The one that's gonna fall is Naruto's neck. He barely makes it. Oh. The flash comes in, River able to get the second hook and able to get the kill, able to run away too. This dive composition is insane.
Wow. So this is a game of League of Legends. I've ever seen one.
This is a very unorthodox team composition, beating a very, I don't want to say cookie cutter, but a very solid team composition, because that, I mean, it is solid on paper. What Gus has.
The thing is, Kite needs the back here. He's too low.
He has Garen passive. So, he's just healing up. Look, he's already half health. Garen passive might be good, but, you know, misses the dash. That's exactly the engage that you want. You might want to start the engage with an ultimate, but that will be committing way too many resources.
Yeah, I think we need to take the tower first is the biggest issue. He was...
Yeah, well, all of this was happening. Herald was actually taken by Wupong, so there is going to be a little bit more pressure in a side lane.
Yeah, you know, they're kind of trolling a little bit when it comes to the kills, but when it comes to the rest of the map, their map play has been very good. They picked up the three outer turrets, both Rift Heralds, both Dragons.
That's
right. And they're going to just use Rift... What I would do is that you just place Rift Herald in the side lane or in mid lane, and you use it to get the priority to immediately go down to Dragon.
Yeah, now look at what everybody's building. Ezreal already has a Trinity Force. Garen is looking... I think that he's going for the sword item. I forget the name of it.
Stormrazor.
Stormrazor? Yeah, Stormrazor.
Yeah.
Unless
he's trying rapid fire cannon Garen.
No.
I don't think that works.
No. I think Stormrazor is the play, because Stormrazor slows your opponent down.
Yeah.
And then it also, especially with the skill force, he's just gonna become a threat. Wupong deciding to save the ultimate until this moment. He's dead.
Titan has to be... Oh!
Nope, I'm telling you, Ivern.
Ivern shield. Ivern things. Interesting that Vino didn't TP down.
Oh. So it seems like Efron crashed a little bit, and now he is... Well, he kind of disconnected, so we're just gonna wait in a little bit of a pause right now. I want to take this pause just to commend the side of Dorado Gaming Lambda. This team composition was indeed a Hail Mary. Don't get me wrong. I feel like if any other team tried to replicate this team composition, they wouldn't be doing as good as they are right now. As Dorado Gaming Lambda is doing right now.
Yeah, completely agree. I think this is a very tried and true... They've tried this before, obviously. You know, the Bruiser mid with the Ivern is something that to them is very standard, right? So, in their mid game, you know, past 10 minutes, they've been performing incredibly well. It's just... how much of a hole did they dig themselves beforehand?
Yeah, and then also just remember that, you know, custom to the signature pause that happens sometimes in Zero Gravity Gaming, don't be surprised to expect the pause after the pause that's gonna happen anytime soon. Hopefully not in a team fight, but we will see. As we see the pause after the pause. Yep.
Okay.
It usually happens at the same time. We're not gonna get desync, no worries. But as we see that Dorado Gaming Lambda is angling for this dragon. Cooper, I mean, if they get 4 Hextech Drakes, it's gonna be huge. I'll say that much. Oh, but going into a quick team fight right now. Jin coming in.
Ivern's dead.
Ivern is not dead. The flash away is gonna come in very clutch at the very last second. No, he is gonna fall out by Rasaka. Rasaka is just on a... He's just on a tear right now. And
That
not a
was
quadra kill, but very, very close to one. And then we see Vino right now just fighting Riverin right now because, you know, I feel like, yeah, Vino still wins this fight.
I think
Oh,
if he would have autoed there, he could have gotten the kill, but I understand not wanting to risk it.
yeah.
You're already winning everywhere else. Just get mid tier 2.
And I mean,
Take a jungle.
if it wasn't for the ultimate from Rasaka, the team fight would have gone so different because Ivor
That
was
was
so
such a
close
good
to living.
ultimate.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said he was dead initially, was that he got the Vladimir ult on him, and then Jin landed the root, forcing him to have to pop his shield early.
And yeah, and I mean that just spelled doom. Rasaka's still on a terror right now. Oh my god, just Maokai is not tanky enough, gets a double kill, and even though Garen finishes off Wukong, he doesn't have any more resources to go back in. River has the Seraphine ult, but what does it matter? It probably matters a lot actually, because River is just going back in. This Silas is online.
Yeah, this Silas is almost at... he should be hitting Zonians after this. They can't run to Baron, but they at least get some gold back from that fight.
Yeah, they took that gold back. They pushed just a little bit too far, at least for the side of going Ghost. I can imagine why. They probably still feel a little bit confident that their team composition is a little bit better. But once one or two of your pieces start falling, that's where your team starts to fall apart. That is way more true for the side of Lambda, but they definitely know what their limits are.
Yeah, definitely. They know how to play their comp very well.
Also,
I
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think it's very... I don't want to say difficult for them to like push any further, but you have such good wave clear with like Vladimir and honestly the Seraphine, right? Like she's the support, but she gives such good wave clear for the side of Going Ghost that it's hard to take advantage of when you do get kills.
Yeah, but in contrast, the important people on the side of going Ghost is the Seraphine, and if the Seraphine gets tagged, it's kind of over. And
Yeah,
there
they're
is a lot
forcing a
of...
Baron.
I don't mind this Baron force, especially because you have a Sejuani in the back. They are going to decide to disengage from it. The knockup
The
comes
Gale
in.
Force!
Ooh, Gale Force indeed. I know, and then the ultimate comes down, but it's not gonna be enough. Garen's gonna fall down. Rasaka is just gonna tear through everybody. The ult from the Jin's gonna come down, and he's not gonna fall. Double kill, and then the Vladimir ultimate coming in clutch to save the life of this Jin. Riverin's not gonna be able to live long enough to tell the tale, and Rasaka takes the ace.
We got to see the Gale Force into execute from the Garen. I'm happy with that, but the fight still just didn't go their favor, and they should be able to Baron here.
I was
They are
gonna
pretty
say,
slow.
I think that Baron is the best decision here. Titan is about to spawn, so it's a little bit scary, especially because your jungler's not here. But at the same time, you have the ability to burst this dragon.
I mean, both teams have Hex Dates to play with, so...
Yeah, but I mean, look who's coming first. Kavita putting the ward up. Titan can actually just...
Also Jin, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that was so close.
Kavita is going to fall for this, and now... You have to give up Dragon now. Well, not Dragon. Dragon spawns in about a minute.
Yeah, no, and unfortunately for the side of El Dorado, I don't think they're favored for this fight, but they have to fight it. It's Soul, right? Like, you don't want to just free give Baron and Soul.
It's just a tough spot to be in, but if River gets this pick... Oh, let's see. Getting the ultimate... He's just forced to run away, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you blow Silas ult very early, which is kind of sad because that could have been a Seraphine ult or a Vladimir ult.
You'd be surprised. Silas ult is pretty fast, so what I do mind...
Oh, true. It's already halfway done. What the heck?
Yeah. Silas has a really low cooldown. What I will say is that the unfortunate thing is that, yes, Seraphine ult is really good. Olaf ult is really good against Seraphine ult, and a lot of the CC from this side of Dorado, of Going Ghost. So, Oh, we see Vino just going in for an engage. Another ultimate comes down. Naruto Snacks just takes another name, and that Maokai falls back again.
And if you look on the minimap, Wukong keeps stopping River from recalling, so they're just gonna push down mid.
I mean, they can. There's no... It's just they have the Baron Wave, they have the minions, and now just Dorado has to spend resources on this. They're going for an engaged. River goes for the ultimate. The Seraphine is gonna fall down to Kaiten, not using the ultimate. Just 2 more seconds left, and as we see Rasaka trying to go in through the ghost, Kaiten still very low. The sun comes in. The Q is not gonna work. That flash is gonna go out in vain. Rasaka uses the ultimate down. The cleanse is not going to help against the ultimate from the Vladimir, and just all the damage that they've done. This is gonna be the last
game.
Yeah, all the damage from the turrets is coming down. It's only Efron and Cooper. Efron is not far enough ahead in order to do enough damage, and that's gonna be the end at 3-0 from this side.
Not what I was expecting at all. What a game.
What a match. And honestly, huge respects for Dorado Gaming Lambda, because even though they lost the 3 games, all the 3 games were very close. They were nail biters. This is what we call in the fighting game a very close 3-0.
Yeah, no, this was definitely... If just 1 or 2 fights had gone differently, maybe Chitin gets there for game 1, I feel like could have been a very long series, but
yeah,
ultimately what happened. It was a 3-0.
What happened. I mean, key takeaways is the following: your team comps might be spicy, but at the end of the day, if they're not in pro teams, then there's a reason why you're not playing it. Although I would say that with a little bit of fine-tuning, and by fine-tuning I mean this side of the top lane, I feel like River was just not feeling himself today.
Yeah, after playing against him, especially, like, that Gwen game was not himself. I think just there might have been something going on externally.
Right, and then, but here's the thing: Cooper, Kaiten, and then Kobita especially. That synergy from those 3 players was insane. Not only in this game is short the most, but otherwise Kobita's support is really solid. The one time I didn't see him shine, or see them shine, was in the Renata Glass game, and I think that they just picked Renata because they thought that it was good.
Yeah.
Now, to give props to the actual winners, Going Ghost.
Yeah.
Individually, they're really good, but you do have to keep in mind that in terms of synergy, they were outclassed by Dorado Gaming Lambda, and they figured that out pretty quickly after the game 1 and a little bit after the game 2. They figured out that if they need team composition, then they just pick champions that are naturally good there.
Yeah, and I also think that, you know, I wouldn't even say, like, maybe their teamwork wasn't as bad. You have to realize, I'm pretty sure Eldorado Lambda has been playing together for a long time. Like, those teammates have been playing each other, not just in this league, but in other leagues. And so they have that synergy down crack, right? So maybe, you know, different team, their synergy, Going Ghost's synergy would win them the games. But this was a series about individual performance.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, as a player, I would not want to go up against any of these 2 compositions. Going Ghost, again, congratulations. Amazing job, because finals. Yeah, going up into the finals. Do we know who they're playing against? Let me just take a quick look if we are able to see.
I believe isn't that game decided tomorrow?
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway. So, whatever the case is, congratulations to both teams. You guys did amazing. I say that I like to give MVPs, but I think that the MVP for this game, I think it's Vino. Vino kicked it out of the park.
I think it's hard between Vino and Rasika. If we're talking about this game specifically,
no, we're talking about the match in general. But in this game specifically,
about the match in general, then I think it's Rasika. That Yasuo game and this Vladimir game, he got so many 4-man ults. He got so many fights that could have been unfavored that he just turned around because of how insane he was playing. And he got camped hard too. Like, The
Mm.
fact that he was ganked 4 or 5 times and only gave up his flash was kind of insane.
You know, yeah, that's. I guess you're right, but I'm still gonna stick with
I-
Vino.
I-
Vino's
no,
lane
yes.
domination was insane. I mean, we're talking about a top, like, 2 very heavy hitter top laners, and one of them just Link Kingdom in the other one.
Yeah, he just demolished. No, I agree. I'm sticking with mine just because, especially that game too.
Yeah, I mean,
Rasica,
Rasika's a very close
but
second, don't get me wrong.
yeah,
But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw Going Ghost take a 3-0 against Dorado Gaming Lambda. I'm Comboster, this was Soul Banana Soul, and it was a pleasure casting it, so I hope you guys have a good night, and we will see you in the next stream.
yeah. See y'all later.